what do we have here? Zohran Mamdani and the rest, the New York Democratic primary candidates, their second debate. Why don't we just get right into it? Let's fucking go, dude.
Good evening. Welcome to the final Democratic primary debate in the race for mayor of New York City. I'm Errol Lewis, political anchor for Spectrum News New York 1, and we're coming to you from the Gerald W. Lynch Theater at John J.
All I have to say is I'm happy that this time I don't have to like watch Horseman's VOD or a Hamas Pikers VOD now instead, and I can just watch this on my heckin' Reno, Canadian IP Reno. So I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got to say.
College of Criminal Justice, located on the west side of Manhattan. I'm joined by Brian Lehrer of WNYC Gothamist and Katie Honan of the news organization.
Oh yeah, some of the people dropped out at this point, and then I don't know, like there was that Jessica Ramos individual, I think, endorsed Cuomo because she hates AOC, so she endorsed Cuomo because reasons. And then I don't know, wasn't there someone else? Is Abundance guy there? Oh, is Abundance dude there? Because what? That dude dropped out because no one likes him, and no one likes Abundance. Haha!
Of the city. The candidates have been making their pitches to New Yorkers for months now, and we are only hours away from the start of early voting across the 5 boroughs, starting on Saturday.
Over the next 2 hours, you can hear from the 7
Oh, fuck, I think Abundance guy is still there. Son of a bitch.
Democratic candidates on their proposals on issues directly affecting the lives of New Yorkers. A reminder that the mayoralty is currently held by Eric Adams, who has withdrawn from the Democratic primary and is running in the November general election as an independent candidate. Tonight's debate is brought to you by the New York City Campaign Finance Board, the city agency that administers the Public Matching Funds program. It's also sponsored by Spectrum News New York 1, WNYC Gothamist, and the City, and Spectrum Noticias. And our co-sponsors are John Jay College of Criminal Justice, the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at CUNY, the Center for New York City and State Law at New York Law School, and the Museum of the City of New York. And you can watch tonight's debate without a paywall on ny1.com. It's also being broadcast on NYC TV, WNYC Radio, the Spectrum News YouTube page, and C-SPAN, and in Spanish on Spectrum Noticias and YouTube.
The candidates joining us tonight have met a polling or fundraising threshold established by the Campaign Finance Board in order to take part in the debate. In alphabetical order, Adrian Adams is the City Council Speaker representing parts of Southeast Queens. Andrew Cuomo previously served as governor of the state of New York. Brad Lander is...
He fucking sexually assaulted people and killed all of your grandmas, your abuelas, and fucking grandparents. Let's go!
the New York City Comptroller. Zohran Mamdani is a state assembly member representing parts of Queens.
Base.
Zelnor Myrie is a state senator representing parts of Brooklyn. Scott Stringer is a former city comptroller and Manhattan borough president. And Whitney Tilson is a former hedge fund manager who helped create Teach for America.
Oh, he's a hedge fund manager. I had no idea. Whoa, the abundance guy was a hedge fund manager? Say it ain't so.
Now for the rules. The rules that you see on your screen right now have been agreed to by all of the candidates. Each candidate will deliver an opening statement of up to 45 seconds. Answers to our questions will generally be limited to 60 seconds, with a chance for rebuttals at the discretion of the moderator. And candidates will have an opportunity to ask one opponent one question during our cross-examination round. We're going to begin with opening statements. The order was determined by a random drawing this morning, and so we'll begin with Scott Stringer. Good evening.
Well, good evening. Look, I love New York City. I was born and raised...
I'll be honest, he's not bad. Scott Stringer, he's not bad. You know, I think I also said this guy was an abundance guy. He's okay, actually. He's not the worst. I'll be honest.
here, and I believe the future of the city can be limitless. But let's face it, people are feeling that it's getting tougher to live here. People who built our neighborhoods are leaving the city. Young people who want to lay down roots here do not see enough opportunity. I say enough is enough. We need a mayor who has experience, we need a mayor who has competence, and a mayor who has a vision to build affordable housing, to enact universal childcare, to build a public school system so that kids can thrive. I've seen the best of the city in every neighborhood, as controller, as a borough president, as a state legislator. And I know that right now, at this moment, we need somebody who has the ability to make sure this city can rise again, and I'm going to do it.
Okay, next is Zelnor Myrie.
This morning, I was on Flatbush Avenue getting my hair cut so I could be fresh for this debate. And one of my constituents walked in and didn't talk to me about politics. She said, "What are you going to do to fight for immigrants like me and my husband?" I got on the train as I left, and I ran into a mother who said, "What are you going to do to fight to help make our schools world class?" So here's the thing. You're going to hear a lot of promises, a lot of nice and cute things on the stage tonight. But when you put your head to the pillow, you want a mayor that is going to fight to keep your family safe, fight to keep that roof over your head, and fight to give you opportunity. I know that because that's what I think about every single day. And I'm ready to put the gloves on as the next mayor to fight to make that a reality.
Thank you. Next candidate is Whitney Tilson.
Good evening. I'm Whitney Tilson, and I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman and philanthropist, and I entered this race because I love this city, but right now it's a mess. It's not talent that we lack. We've got the best and brightest, nor money. We spend double that of any other city in the world. It's leadership, and we can't afford amateur hour in City Hall anymore. It is...
Yeah, dude, because, like, stupid, dumb fuck abundance liberalism bullshit, why you giving a bunch of money to developers is really going to, really gonna help, guys. Yeah, we're gonna build a lot more housing by only working with developers. Yay! To price out people from more parts of New York. Yay! Woo!
It's rightly said that being job of mayor of this complex, enormous city is the second hardest job in the world. That's why we need a mayor who's experienced, competent, and can get things done. Not a social media phenom with cute videos. Someone who can balance the budget and make tough choices.
Haha! Cope, you're still polling at 1%? Ha, fucking loser. I wonder how you made the fucking threshold. Oh, it's because you're a fucking billionaire. Wait, what's his question? Whitney Tilson net worth. Thank you. What's his net worth? What do we got? Where is it? Whitney Tilson, our team, starting out of his bedroom with only $1 million. Tilson grew assets under management to more than $200 million. What's his net worth? Tilson said then and again on Tuesday that he's nowhere close to having the net worth of a billionaire. But he's a hedge fund manager, which means he's a 100 millionaire at the very least. And bro is calling himself a businessman and philanthropist. Yeah, okay, bro. Nice meme.
Not behind the sky promises that.
Yeah, he only started with a small loan of $1 million.
There's no realistic plan to pay for, and someone who will keep us safe by ending chaos, not inciting it, by supporting law enforcement, and by not threatening to defund and dismantle our police. I will be that mayor, and so I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Again, Zohran Mamdani's proposal for police is not to defund them, but essentially say, yeah, they want to do like less work. They don't want to do the work of social workers. But, you know, like any other good little fucking stooge, he has to say, like, actually, it's only about defunding the police. I have to take that very literally.
Okay, our next candidate is Adrian Adams.
Thank you very much. My name is Adrian Adams, and I'm running for mayor because I'm an everyday New Yorker, just like all of you are. When I open my front door, I see what every New Yorker sees, and that is we are in need of a change. I raised 4 children in Southeast Queens in the same home that we live in. I buy my own groceries, so I know the cost of groceries for everyday New Yorkers. Look, as the leader of the city council leading the most diverse city council in the history, led by a women majority, I realize what leadership truly is. I'm already doing the job. I have successfully negotiated 3 city budgets, and now in the middle of negotiating my 4th city budget. I continue to lead and step in.
Let's be honest here, Boy Meets Minnie. Personally, I think just because of Whitney Tilson, I'm going to become a Maoist. I'm a Maoist now. I am now going to start advocating for the great purges of the landlords now. That's what I'll do it. I am now a Maoist. Because I fucking hate that dude so much.
Our current mayor has not, where we have fought through the city council budget cuts. We have saved public libraries and pre-K. I'm Adrian Adams, already doing the job, asking you to rank me number 1, to be the first woman mayor of the city of New York.
Next candidate is Brad Lander.
If you watched last week's debate, you already know I'm not the flashiest candidate in this race. I don't have a famous father. I'm not the best at TikTok. My daughter's here. All her videos do better than mine. But I love this city. I believe in its future, and I know how to make government work better. As controller,
I like Brad Lander. You know, I think he's pretty solid. I'm expecting him to probably bully the shit out of Chris. I always confuse them. It's Andrew Cuomo. I believe him and Zohran Mamdani, I think they just cross-endorsed each other. So, like I said before, I think he's a pretty good candidate. The other guy, I forget his fucking name. Something Smith. He was the tall black guy who was constantly bullying Andrew Cuomo, and it was really, really funny. I don't think he's on the stage either, which is unfortunate. Didn't make it to the threshold. I'm really bad with names. I don't remember his name. I just know he was a tall black dude. That's what I do remember. He was bald as well. Tall, bald, and he's a black guy. That's all I remember.
Saved taxpayers over $2 billion, canceled corrupt contracts, managed the pension funds to record highs. I've built or saved over 50,000 affordable homes. As mayor, I'll deliver 500,000 more. That's why today the New York Times opinion panel said I'm the best choice for mayor. I've got the public integrity that New Yorkers deserve, the progressive values that New Yorkers share, and the management chops to deliver on them.
Next is Zohran Mamdani.
My name is Assemblymember Zohran Mamdani, and I'm running to make the city affordable. I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich. The same billionaires who put Donald Trump back in the White House, the same ones who are funding Andrew Cuomo's campaign. Like many New Yorkers, I wasn't born in this country, but I grew up in the city, and it's one that we're in danger of losing. We're under attack from authoritarianism from the outside and an affordability crisis from the inside. Yet if you turn on your television 20 years ago, you've heard the same tired, failed policies you'll hear from politicians tonight. It's time for a new generation of leadership, and that's exactly what my campaign is building. A movement of more than 36,000 volunteers who have knocked on nearly 1 million doors and left us just 2 points away from City Hall. So join us, and let's win a New York you can afford.
God, he's so fucking based, dude. God, he's so good.
This is Andrew Cuomo.
Good evening, and thank you all.
All right, here's the rapist. Fucking elderly murdering rapist.
Very much for having me here today. I do have a very famous parent who I'm very proud of, Matilda Cuomo, and I hope she's watching. Everyone has a plan, as you've heard. Everyone always has a plan. That's always the way. But the question for tonight is, who has the ability to get the job done? That's really the question. Who can build housing? I built housing across the nation as HUD Secretary. I built LaGuardia Airport, Kosciuszko Bridge, 2nd Avenue Subway, and more. Who can do public safety? While my colleagues were defunding the police, I was adding more police. Who can manage the city?
Yeah, dude, because it's exactly what New Yorkers want. They want more fucking police to whip homeless people. Let's go. Keep in mind, when all like the stupid far right like 3 IQ fucking dipshits were constantly complaining about the non-safety of fucking goddamn subways and shit like that within New York, and this motherfucker decided to add more police to the fucking goddamn subways. Hey, guess what was happening during those times? First off, it was fucking COVID, so hardly anyone was using the subway. So guess what? When COVID passed and people started using the subway again, oh, the safety went up. and the police started to leave because the safety was going up significantly. It turns out that if you put the police there, they're gonna fucking do everything possible in order to try to find crime because they're fucking shit stirrers constantly. Whoa, crazy. Very, very cool.
Manage the state that has double the budget of New York City. And who can take on Donald Trump? That is the big question. And he sent troops into cities all across this country, but he never sent them into New York when I was there, and he never will when I am mayor. A job looks easy when you haven't done.
Aren't you? Didn't you fucking constantly soy out saying that? The DOJ is currently investigating me for fucking murdering a bunch of elderly people, which is well, Letitia James is the one who's fucking investigating you for that and has found credible evidence to suggest that. Yeah, you're fucking you were culpable for murdering a bunch of elderly people by sending them back into those public housing units for public elderly care units that were hotbeds for fucking COVID. You sent them back in there and you killed a bunch of them. Whoops.
Done it. Experience matters. I will get the job done. I will work for you 24/7.
Thank you for your opening statements, candidates.
Okay,
Mr. Cuomo, many New Yorkers are concerned about what's happening in Los Angeles. Workplace immigration raids and deportations, protests with some violence, the president's deployment of the National Guard and the Marines over the objection of the governor and the mayor. The Trump aide Stephen Miller said the mayor has no say. If you were mayor of New York right now, how would you handle the situation if something like that happened here?
Yeah, we had this situation before, right? This is not a case of first impression. President Trump did this in Trump 1. He did it a number of times. He sent troops into cities all across the country. This is him being macho authoritarianism. He's the commander-in-chief. He never sent them into New York because I said to him, you better never send troops into New York. We don't need them. It would be a hostile act. It would be a problem. Right now, in this situation, we're going to protect our immigrants. This is
okay. Like Gavin Newsom, by the way, like Gavin Newsom also said the fucking same shit, and he didn't care. Again, more than likely in Trump 1, you want to know what happened? Probably someone got into his ear, said like, "That's a really fucking bad idea. Don't do it. You're gonna get fucking sued. Do not do it." And that's probably what happened. But that's not the case with this fucking goddamn administration. It's nothing but a bunch of fucking sycophants that are around Donald Trump, who are not going to do anything about his, I don't know, latent impulses. They're just going to go along with it and deal with the consequences of it later. So your fucking attempted tough guy macho act is going to fucking do shit, okay? Like, he's just going to be like, that's really funny, Cuomo. Wouldn't it be really funny if I decided to open a bunch of investigations with the DOJ into your sexual assault allegations? You can just do that and, like, blackmail you through that, and, well, guess what? You'd fucking capitulate immediately. So, you know, nice meme, dude.
This is a sanctuary city, and we are going to defend the laws of the sanctuary city. We have an NYPD that is the largest police force in the United States of America. Donald Trump only picks fights that he can win. He cannot win a fight with me.
Wait, what is the NYPD's fucking opinion currently on sanctuary city laws? Because we know what the Los Angeles PD, the police chief, has said, and what the sheriff's department also said. They're just like, yeah, we support it. Yeah, we don't have a problem with it. We don't care. Yeah, whatever. I'm curious. Didn't NYPD mostly vote Trump? Probably. What is the NYPD's opinion on sanctuary city laws? NYPD Chief of Patrol calls for amendments to sanctuary city laws. And yeah, the NYPD is currently cooperating with ICE. You know, if they cared about enforcing the city's sanctuary laws, which is the law that they're fucking supposed to enforce right now, Cuomo, then they would not be cooperating with ICE. NYPD's cooperation with ICE must be investigated, City Council says. City Council requests on Tuesday that the City Watchdog open an inquiry into how the police department under Mayor Eric Adams is sharing information with federal authorities amid President Trump's immigration crackdown. Now, you can make the argument that it's because of Eric Adams basically forcing the NYPD to do this. Sure, whatever, maybe. But do they really care about that or not? I don't know. So again, NYPD is currently in cooperation with ICE. If you just say, forehead, don't do it, are they actually going to listen? I don't know.
Mayor of New York.
Mr. Mamdani, any contrast so far?
You know, what is so troubling to see right now is we also have the NYPD assisting ICE in some of those very missions right here in New York City. We saw the strategic response group.
Hey, that's what I said. I said that. Okay.
Group arrest a pastor who was peacefully observing the arrest of a migrant at Federal Plaza. When I am the mayor, the NYPD will serve public safety of New Yorkers. They will not assist Trump's ICE agents. And furthermore, though Donald Trump may not believe in the law, we have to be clear that we do, and we will in fact bring back our law department to its pre-pandemic staffing levels, 200 additional lawyers, and start to provide lawyers for immigrants who are in deportation cases, because we know that by doing so, we in fact increase their likelihood of coming home to their families in New York City by 11 times. Finally, we can see examples in previous mayoral administrations where the mayor's team, like Steve Banks in the last administration, took every single step they could to ensure that none of the personal information the city had would be turned over to the Trump administration. I would follow that example through all of our agencies.
Thank you. Ms. Adams, staying on this topic, but with kind of a follow-up. If the president sees what he thinks is disorder in the streets and believes that local and state law enforcement officials are not doing a good job at protecting citizens and property, why shouldn't he step in? His supporters say that's his responsibility.
We are right now dealing with a lawless president enacting lawless behavior across this entire nation. As one who continues to speak up and out against Donald Trump, currently Donald Trump would like to bring ICE back onto Rikers Island, which has been illegal since the year 2014, through an executive order put forth by the deputy mayor of the city of New York, not the mayor of the city of New York, which is unprecedented. They want to bring ICE back onto Rikers Island. And the person that is endorsing me, she is the baddest AG in the nation. Her name is Tish James. She said, Adrian, if Donald Trump starts to get in your way, sue him. So I am suing him. I am suing the mayoral administration and Donald Trump's ICE. We will continue to protect immigrants when I am mayor, just like I am protecting them as the leader of the city council. We will make sure that Donald Trump's ICE obeys the law. We are a sanctuary city. I am here to protect that in the city council. And when I am mayor, I will continue to protect our laws and our immigrants.
Mr. Lander, continuing on the same track, but if the president says the mayor has no say, which seems to be the case because he did deploy the Marines and the National Guard, what would you do? What could you do?
Let me tell you about how the mayor could have a say. Last Thursday and again this morning, I went down to the federal building to observe immigration court and then accompany immigrants out past ICE agents so they could get out of the federal building and back to their families. One was a couple with kids in our city school system. They were worried they weren't going to see them again. So I stand up to bullies that don't back down from a fight, and I will make clear that we're going to protect the 40% of New Yorkers who are immigrants, and we're going to keep them safe, and we're going to keep New York City safe. You can de-escalate conflict. What Trump wants is to strike fear and escalate conflict. We're going to make clear we stand up for immigrant New Yorkers, and we de-escalate and keep the peace. I do want to tell you, though, about some immigrant New Yorkers that Andrew Cuomo screwed.
So if I recall correctly, that was basically the same thing that what Judge Dugan did with that one immigrant, and she got fucking arrested, right, by the Trump by ICE in DHS, right? She was helping escort a immigrant that the immigrant had a court case in her fucking court, wanted to bring him in for due process because that's what you're supposed to fucking do, and then she got fucking arrested for it, which is against the law. But Brad Lander's already attacking Cuomo. Attack Cuomo! Fuck him!
When he was governor, and we're defending in my office a couple of hundred immigrant subway cleaners who he made clean the subway cars but cheated out of the prevailing wages and health care that they were due. We're fighting right now to get it back. I stand up to bullies, and I'll stand up to Donald Trump.
Mr. Cuomo, you were named, so we may not be able to do this every time all night, but you were
Attack
named,
Cuomo.
so you get a brief response.
I don't know what Mr. Lander is talking about. The MTA contracted for cleaning services. I assume that's what he's talking about. The MTA goes through a rigorous contracting process. They should never have hired illegal immigrants if it is true. But obviously I had...
They should have never hired illegal immigrants. Buddy, who the fuck else is going to do the jobs? Anyone else going to do those jobs? Probably not. I mean, that's like the first argument. But like, what do you mean? They should have hired illegal immigrants. That's fucking Trump rhetoric. Are you fucking for real? They shouldn't have hired... Listen, they shouldn't have hired them. Not good. They're going to get deported now, folks. So... that means because of the fact that the MTA hired illegal immigrants, mean they should get fucked over now from pay and healthcare benefits? Nice fucking meme. Literally one-to-one fucking rhetoric.
Had nothing to do with them hiring anyone.
Is that what you said? What did you call them?
If anyone was undocumented or they didn't pay the proper wages, I had nothing to do with it.
You didn't pay them the proper wages. You cheated them out of the prevailing wages they were due and the healthcare they were due.
I didn't contract with them at all.
Ooh, yeah. Cuomo's not looking good here. He's not looking good.
The MTA contracted
Who appoints
with
the chair of the MTA?
Oh, I see. So every contract that the MTA contracts, you want me to be held responsible?
This one, yes, because 100 immigrant workers got cheated out of $2.5 million and their health care, and the orders came from on high.
Yeah, so you say. If they did it, that would obviously be wrong. The MTA contracts for $6 billion per year.
I'm very curious. Cuomo MTA claim. I'm curious. Makes claims about... Oh, hello, PolitiFact. What does PolitiFact have to say? Apparently it's false. Says Governor Andrew Cuomo is stealing money from the MTPA and sending it upstate for projects that have nothing to do with transit. Mark Molinaro. Well, apparently this is fake. Not real. The general election campaign in full swing. The attacks have begun as Republican Mark Molinaro. Oh, this is like from 2018. Oh, what the? That's a Republican who said that. MTA spent millions. How the MTA spent millions on a Cuomo cost-cutting effort that spurred a worker shortage. This is a local outlet that's reporting this. And this would have been in 2021 when he was governor. NTA transformation plan brought a $4 million consultant report with new high-priced executives and staffing gaps. Now in the Hochul era, the transit agency is scrapping the plan and going on a hiring spree to stem bus and subway delays. Seems a little sus. Seems a little sussy. NTA transports and, $325,000 a year chief transformation officer. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of money. State Comptroller Thomas Napoli criticized the plan last month, flagging how the transformation team took credit, eliminating nearly 2,300 operations and maintenance jobs and fewer than 300 administrative posts, leading to service woes. A little sussy. I don't know. A little sus. So, Cuomo did cut a bunch of costs on the MTA. Very cool. Very, very cool.
They have multiple contracts. We have a controller on the state of New York who audits the books. I'm sure he's almost as good as you. And if that happened, he would have found out.
Thankfully, these are prevailing wage workers under city contracts.
But still on President Trump, and Mr. Stringer, you can reply to that if you want. But my moving on question is, his administration has made deep cuts to some programs that directly fund services for New Yorkers. A listener to my radio show asks, how do you propose addressing funding shortfalls for critical services, or which programs will you prioritize above others, assuming you can't make up for all the funding gaps? And please tell everybody how you think your approach would be better than the other candidates.
Sure, Brian. Well, look, I was in Trump 1 when I was a city controller. And during that time period, I didn't let him get the city down. During my time, I managed to divest $4 billion from fossil fuels controller. I divested from gun manufacturers. I divested from private prisons. I put the line in the sand with that guy, and I will do the same as mayor. Look, when you grow up in Washington Heights, everything comes your way. And you understand the only way to deal with a bully is to draw the line early and fight back. So here's specifically what I'm going to do. First, as mayor, we're going to establish a very, very rainy day fund. We need to get $500 million from the state and $500 million from the city so that we can continue to replenish the money that Donald Trump is taking from us. $80 million is taken in the dead of night. We need to keep the social safety net alive until Hakeem Jeffries becomes the speaker, and we can dismantle the Trump organization in just 2 seconds, just to straighten out the two of them. I was the one who brought the prevailing case with the MTA on those workers, and I believe very strongly then that we have to make sure that we pay wages so people can live and stay in New York, and that's why I did it.
Mr. Myrie.
Ooh, corroboration to Lander's claims. Uh-oh, Cuomo, it looks like you might have had a hand to play in the MTA workers getting fucked over from wages and their benefits. Uh-oh, stinky.
Mr. Myrie, same question about dealing with the defunding of the city.
First let me put my lawyer hat on for a second. What Donald Trump is doing right now is flat out unconstitutional, and we got to say that very clearly, because they are counting on the chaos being normal. They're counting on us being relaxed about this approach because we see it in the headlines every day. It is flat out unconstitutional, and we should not, as a city, hesitate whatsoever to bring it to him when he's coming after our folks in the city. So look, I'm going to hire 50 more lawyers to our law department so we can go on the offensive, and the best way for us to be independent of the Trump cuts is to expand our tax base. That is why I want to deliver 1 million homes over the next 10 years. That's why I want to extend pre-K and 3K to 6 p.m. This is why I want universal after school for everyone. This has to be a city where you can raise a family, where people can make the choice to stay here, when they can spend their money in our local economy. We can create $18 billion over the next 10 years if we create 1 million homes over the next decade. That is what I plan to do, and I plan to go on offense every single time this bully comes after my city.
Mr. Tilson.
I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like annoying abundance agenda shit, because there's like always like forehead, just build more fucking houses forehead. I mean, didn't really talk much about like regulation there at all. Getting rid of like burdensome regulation. Yeah, it's mostly like...
Mr. Tilson, you'll get the last word on this. People are talking about standing up to President Trump. Can it ever be smart, in your opinion, to hold your tongue about your worst opinions of him so that New York could possibly get better treatment? Or would that not be effective?
Yes, possibly. There's a grim anniversary coming up on Tuesday. It is the 10-year anniversary of Trump coming down that escalator, spewing hatred and xenophobia, and I've been fighting him tooth and nail every day of those 10 years. That said, he is...
I don't believe him. Yeah, I don't believe this fucking stupid abunda agenda, fucking stupid dumbass.
A childish bully, and getting into a Twitter war with him needlessly would hurt our city, I think. He tweets a lot of crazy stuff, and most of the time, if you simply ignore it, he moves on to his next childish
Bro, okay, it's fucking truth, dumbass. He doesn't even use his Twitter anymore. Come on, get it right, bro. Come on. Donald Trump tweets.
So, to your question, I will fight Donald Trump as mayor, stand up to him, sue him if necessary, but my job is to serve the people of New York, and that sometimes involves not provoking a childish person, but one who unfortunately holds a lot of power, and our 10% of our city budget is federal funding.
Candidates, thank you for this first round.
Okay, candidates, some of you have many years of government experience, while others have spent less than a decade in office. One of you has never been elected to any office. So, and then if we consider age, one of you would be, if elected, the oldest person ever to be sworn in as mayor, while another would be the youngest mayor to take office in more than 100 years. So let me start with you, Mr. Mamdani. What do you say to critics who think that a 33-year-old assemblyman who's only been in office 4 years needs more experience before becoming mayor of the largest city in the country?
Is this like a... This is such a boring question, I'll be honest. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, who gives a shit?
I would ask is for them to judge me by the campaign that I'm running. The campaign we began with about 2 full-time employees polling at 1% that has now grown to be one where we manage over 36,000 volunteers that have knocked on nearly 1 million doors. And ultimately, what I will deliver to New York City is what I've been delivering in this race, innovation and competence. And I will do so by hiring the best and the brightest. Because for too long, we've had an understanding of leadership where you simply want to replicate each one of your ideas and hire the people who will be quickest to say yes to whatever you say to them. I will instead hire the people who have the track records, the excellence, the fluency. And it has been a pleasure to meet with incredible officials like Maria Torres-Springer, like Patrick Gaspard, like Steve Banks, like Amit Baga, so many who have delivered that public service and that public excellence in this city. And that is what I would be doing as the next mayor of this city of New York.
Mr. Myrie, similar question. What would you say to New Yorkers concerned that your legislative record, however lengthy, is not the same as running an organization of 300,000 employees?
Listen, I think New Yorkers want a mayor that is going to deliver results for them and to do it when it is difficult to achieve. I passed over 60 bills that have become the law. But when I ran for state senate back in 2018, Albany was dysfunctional. Some rogue Democrats, propped up by Andrew Cuomo, prevented so many legislation that would help everyday New Yorkers. Whether it was protection for tenants, whether it was reproductive health, whether it was climate legislation, whether it was your right to be safe in your neighborhood. And on day one in the state senate, I passed something called early voting, which all of us are going to participate in on this Saturday. So I am about the results and about the work. I have built coalition. I have listened to stakeholders. I've done really difficult things. That is the job of the mayor, to get everyone at the table and to achieve something that people said was impossible. I've been in the business of delivering for the people of my district. I look forward to doing the same thing for the people of New York City.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo, if elected, you would be the oldest person ever sworn in as mayor. If you serve 2 full terms, you'd be 76 years old upon leaving office. Is somebody in their 70s the ideal age for holding the second hardest job in America?
Let's do 1 term at a time if we can. I think you raise a very important point. Experience matters. And I think inexperience is dangerous in this case. Mr. Mamdani has had a staff of 5 people. You're not going to run a staff of 300,000 employees. He's never done...
He just said how much his staff has grown to like 36,000. Like, this is the line of attack we're going with? Really? He just said how it's significantly grown and his campaign is very successful. You have been barely campaigning, and the only times you have come out to speak is to, like, finger wag people about fucking Israel. Are you... Are you for real, dude? Quick reminder, this is the same motherfucker, by the way, who wrote up his housing policy with, like, ChatGPT. Like, come on, bro. Like, we're gonna talk about, like, he does a really bad job at, running the biggest fucking city. He wouldn't do a good job. He only had 5 people before. It's like, yeah, well, he just literally said he started with 2 people, and now there are 36,000 people. Like, are you for real? Okay, dude.
Dealt with the city council. He's never dealt with the Congress. He's never dealt with the state legislature. He's never negotiated with the union. He's never built anything. He's never dealt with a natural emergency. He's never dealt with a hurricane with a...
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, he's a state assembly member. He has fucking experience and stuff like that. What are you saying? Oh, it's just a bunch of... He already just said he'd get, like, people to fucking help him. That's how it works. Have you done the same thing? What? Are you the fucking main dude who's sort of, manages fucking hurricane budgets? Or do you have people that do that? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Buddy, may I remind you? Hey, Andrew. Andrew Cuomo, nursing homes. Hey, Andrew. The Attorney General, Letitia James, released a report finding Governor Andrew Cuomo had understated the toll of COVID-19 related deaths in state nursing homes by as much as 83%. Now, why would you do that, Andrew? Oh, why'd you do that, buddy? Oh, what's going on? I thought you were a great manager of all these different issues, but apparently you can't fucking manage these nursing home deaths during COVID? Widely known as an alleged cover-up. Totally. Very, very cool. Yeah, and guess what? The DOJ began a criminal investigation against Cuomo over the matter in 2015. Yeah, based off of the stuff they got from this initial investigation. Because I know he's gonna cry about this more than likely, saying, the DOJ is doing an investigation on me, which is not lawful. And this is the guy who's talking about he's gonna stand up to Trump. Dude, they're gonna use this as blackmail over you. Because guess what? It turns out there's some pretty credible stuff for as to you killing a bunch of old people in nursing homes. Uh-oh, stinky.
The flood, etc. He's never done any of the essentials, and now you have Donald Trump on top of all of that, and he's never dealt with what I think is the greatest national threat that we face in this president. To put a person in this seat at this time with no experience is reckless and dangerous. To Mr. Lander and his experience, remember, this was the fiscal watchdog under the Eric Adams administration, which was like the bookkeeper at Tammany Hall.
Yeah. Mr. Mamdani. To Mr. Cuomo, I have never had to resign in disgrace. I have never cut Medicaid. I have never stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. I have never hounded the 13 women who credibly accused me of sexual harassment. I have never sued for their gynecological records, and I have never done those things because I am not you, Mr. Cuomo. And furthermore, the name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it because we gotta get it right.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a zinger. Ooh, yeah, because again, we just looked into the fucking MTA stuff. There's some pretty sussy shit right there on you, Cuomo. Yeah, we know about the fucking goddamn women, you know? We'll take a quick look at that. Andrew Cuomo sexual assault allegations. I believe there was like a recent update about this. Yeah, DOJ says Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed 13 women, and this was in 2024. This would have been under the Biden DOJ. Yee, yeah, it's not looking good for you, Andrew. Uh-oh, stinky. Ooh.
May I respond?
My response
God,
is
that smirk that fucking Zoran's having there. He knows he fucking killed that with that line. He knows he fucking killed it with that one. Ooh. Ooh, and he's gonna get mad. Ooh, little Cuomo boy over here is gonna get mad.
60 seconds on the question. Let
Mr. Landers speak, and then you can respond.
Okay. Is this my response to Andrew, or is this my 60 seconds?
No, this is your response if you choose.
Thank you. So I've gotten so many Eric Adams contracts canceled, we can't keep track. He tried to put a $432 million no-bid crony contract, and we audited it, and we got it canceled. We have done it time and time again. Andrew knows a lot about corruption. That's part of the experience he had. He created a corruption commission and then killed it as soon as it got too close to him. But his senior aides had to resign in corruption disgrace. And let's be clear, he has experience, but leadership is not inviting 25-year-old young women into your office, as he admitted he did, and then asking them about their intimate life and whether they would date older men. I lead by building the best teams, not through sexual harassment, corruption, and disgrace.
Mr. Cuomo.
You know, didn't go as hard as what Zoran said, but also went pretty hard. That's also pretty good. Ooh, Andrew Cuomo, it's not looking good for you, buddy.
Mr. Mamdani's right. He's never done anything, period. This is a man who
Mamdani.
This
Just say the name right, Mamdani.
This is a man who has done nothing. He's accomplished nothing. 3 bills are all he passed. He has the worst attendance record in the New York State Assembly. He has never held a real job. He has 0...
Bro, this is fucking weak. He's got nothing. He's got nothing on Zoran, dude.
0 accomplishments, and now he thinks he's going to be ready to be mayor of the city of New York. It is laughable. It is laughable, and it is dangerous.
I want Mr. Cuomo to look out into the crowd and look at Richard Chow, who lost his brother to suicide because of the taxi driver debt crisis. I went with Mr. Chow over many, many months organizing to push this very city to finally reckon with its complicity in that, and we won $450 million in debt relief. And I want you to look at him and tell him that that's nothing.
Okay, let's keep on looking at this. Yeah.
Just cut right to the chase and tell what's really going on here. So, truth be told, experience matters. And Andrew Cuomo has experience. I know that. He does. But vision matters. And Mamdani said it right?
Mamdani, almost there.
Okay, I'm getting there. But you have the vision, and you have articulated it during the campaign. The problem is we need somebody who can do both. And my experience and my vision, when you combine it, is the third lane to win this race, and that's what we have to do.
Very good, very good.
We cannot have a mayoralty on training wheels, but we also have to have a mayor who's willing to go to town hall meetings, to meet with the voters where they are, and that hasn't happened with the experienced candidate. Now, one last thing. Every job I've had, state legislator, I introduced rules of reform in the assembly and got it passed. As Manhattan Borough president, I actually built affordable housing. I didn't do 1 or 2 rezonings. I did that as my life's work and made a difference. As controller, I built the best controller's office that Brad Lander takes credit for, and I'm proud of that.
Okay, fair enough. I want to bring Ms. Adams into the conversation. Ms. Adams, your private sector experience involves finding and training corporate leaders. Government, however, involves working with people who are independently elected, maybe politically connected, who cannot be bypassed, cannot be fired. How do you avoid falling into the trap of catering to vested interests at the expense, possibly, of the public interest?
Well, in the words of Scott Stringer, let's just cut to the chase. As the only candidate currently doing this work that everyone is aspiring to do as co-leader in city government in City Hall already, as one that has walked up those steps of City Hall for almost 10 years, as the one that is leading one of the largest legislative bodies in the entire country, as one that has seen 120,000 units of affordable housing coming up in the city, as one who has championed the largest victory for affordable housing in a generation, as one that is already doing this work, as one that has taken private skills from the private sector in management. I have trained people that will make more money than I will ever make in a lifetime, and bringing those skills with me into the public sector, into the New York City Council, now leading a body of 50 council members, as the one with the experience ready to go to work tomorrow, because where I work is where everyone else on this stage aspires to work, in City Hall in Adrian Adams, New York.
Okay. I have a question for you, Mr. Tilson, related to this discussion. You have frequently said on the campaign trail that, quote, career politicians have caused many of the city's problems or made them worse. You said tonight, in fact, that this is no time for amateur hour. Explain why a lack of experience running a city agency would make you a better manager than some of your rivals here.
I actually view not being a politician as a feature, not a bug. It is possible to hire people into administration, of course, who have the experience of running a big bureaucracy. I would point to Mike Bloomberg as my inspiration when I decided to run for mayor. He had never held elected office before. I think he was one of
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because people are really like Michael fucking Bloomberg, my dude. Yeah, totally, bro. You and your fucking dumbass abundance agenda, liberalism fucking bullshit. I'm a big fan of Michael Bloomberg. What was Michael Bloomberg's fucking approval rating? Why don't we take a look? Oh, what was it? 49% against 40 who disapproved. Ooh, he's, he almost broke even. Almost, Michael. Yeah, he almost there. I don't think you want to stand fucking Michael Bloomberg. Listen, AJ's just doing a little bit of trolling, and I respect that. I respect a little bit of trolling.
of our greatest mayors. He steered us through the global financial crisis, and I believe that having someone like him, who I saw was independent of all the special interests, who in a low turnout off-season primary like what we're having right now, only 5% of New Yorkers of our total population is probably going to be enough to win the primary, and effectively, certainly last time was enough to win the mayoralty. So I think we need a mayor who is independent of that inherently corrupting system, who doesn't need the job, who isn't angling for higher office, and who brings a business background, which I think is more relevant to managing one of the world's largest bureaucracies. Okay.
Again, yeah, listen, fucking Donald Trump also brings a fucking business background, and everyone fucking hates him, so, I don't think people are very interested in the bringing of a business background, dude. Yeah, isn't aligning for angling for higher office. Yeah, I totally believe him. Sure.
Thank you, candidates.
When New Yorkers are asked their top concerns, one of the biggest issues is always affordability, particularly the high cost of housing. Millions of New Yorkers in rent-stabilized apartments are currently awaiting a final ruling from the Rent Guidelines Board about how much they could pay more each month in rent. But first, we'll get to a crucial question about the production of housing. We want you, the candidates, to address New Yorkers with your top proposal to ease the housing crunch. And I'll start with you, Mr. Myrie. We know you've been vocal about a plan to build and preserve 1 million units of housing. You mentioned it earlier. Is that a realistic possibility, given the current dynamics in the city?
Let me tell you what's real, Katie. People are leaving the city because they can't afford to stay here. They can't afford the rent. Can't afford to own a home. Like me and my wife, who are looking to put down roots in the same neighborhood we grew up in, people are struggling. And we've had leaders of the past that have put their solutions forward, and things have only gotten worse. So yes, 1 million homes over the next 10 years, because we can't keep nibbling around the edges. That is the only way we're actually going to bring down the cost of housing. And listen, is it going to be challenging? Of course it's going to be challenging. But anything worth anything is going to be hard to do. We built the Empire State Building in 13 months, and we did it 100 years ago. Come on already. Of course we can do 1 million homes. I want to change our public land to be affordable housing. I want to convert our industrial areas to residential. We have commercial real estate space that is laying vacant that can be converted as well. We have opportunities to revitalize NYCHA. We got to be bold in this moment, but we need the leadership and the courage to get it done, and that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you. Mr. Stringer, your housing plan is to model a highly successful plan from the 1950s. You call it Mitchell-Lama 2.0. It sounds ideal, but how would you pay for this expansive plan?
This is where we just got to have an honest conversation. I get $1 million. I could easily say we could do 2.5 million given my experience. It's all. Put that aside for a second. People need affordable housing now. They need low-income housing now. The way we do it is we take the 1,000 vacant lots I audited as controller, and we give that land back to the people, to non-for-profits, to limited profit developers. We don't ask the luxury developers to build the low-end and affordable housing we need. We get a generation.
I'm sorry. I just have to make. Listen. This isn't. I got nothing against Scott here. Okay, nothing against him. But the dude, I have to say the fucking nasally voice is not doing it for me. I can't. I have to make the observation. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. It's nothing against him. I don't think he's like the worst candidate out there, but the nasaliness is just getting to me, dude.
Of people to come in and build the tens of thousands of units of housing. See, it's not just about building housing. The second question, or the question I care passionately about, is who are we building housing for? We got to build more housing, 2, 3-bedroom apartments for families, so that after the second kid, they don't leave, they stay here. We need to do what we did with Mitchell-Lama housing, a housing stock that is the best practice in the world. We got to build more of that housing, integrated housing, because the people who moved into those buildings, you know what they did? They didn't just exist in those apartments. They built communities.
Nah, boy meets Minnie. This is worse than Pierre. This is worse than Pierre. I'll be honest. With Pierre, he kind of like masks it a bit. This one is he's a little more like I don't know, not blatant with it. It's more clear, to be honest. It is a lot less condescending. That is true.
Schools and daycare centers, and this is a promise I can keep while I'm alive, while I'm mayor, and we'll see what happens going forward. But let's do that immediately on day one when I'm mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Lander, as mayor, you declare a housing emergency which could help you build 500,000 homes, including on city-owned golf courses. How do you get the citywide support for this plan?
So the New York Times opinion panel today said I was the best choice for mayor because I combine clear and bold plans and a real track record of delivering that is especially true on housing. In the neighborhood around the Gowanus Canal, when I was council member, I organized the community to support redevelopment. More housing, more affordable housing is going up there than anywhere else in the city, and the community is supporting it because it's coming with open space and affordable art studios, as well as 3,000 genuinely affordable homes. We're even fixing up the NYCHA units nearby. As controller, I saved the 35,000 rent-stabilized units that were put at risk when Signature Bank failed by investing to buy the mortgages on them. I know how to do this. I have a detailed plan for getting 500,000 units built. That's around the Interborough Express, where we've got new opportunities for transit-oriented development, and we can build great new neighborhoods on 4 of the city's 12 golf courses because people will be excited about courtyards for families, about daycare centers, about new schools and libraries, places they could own in neighborhoods they will love.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, you were HUD secretary, you were governor for more than a decade, you managed a nonprofit housing organization. What would you say to voters who wonder if all that experience might end up being, in the end, the wrong experience, since after decades of work, we've ended up in a housing emergency here in the city?
Yeah, I would say, Errol, look at the results, right? Everyone has a plan. I have a plan. Everyone has a plan. They had a plan to build LaGuardia Airport. Nobody did it until I did it. They had a plan to build a new Moynihan train station, but nobody could do it until I did it. They had a plan to finish the 2nd Avenue subway, but nobody could do it until I could do it. Now we have plans to build affordable housing, and we do need hundreds of thousands of units of affordable housing, there's no doubt, but we're going to need a different model. The city HPD does not work to create this volume. The state housing program does not work to create this volume. We're going to have to accelerate the ULERP program, and then we're going to have to open every option available. NYCHA units, office to residential conversion. Every city-owned piece of property we have to look at, air rights, how do we maximize it? We are going to have a full-on assault to build affordable housing. And yes, it's one thing to have a plan, it's another thing to have the ability to do it. And that's where New York City has fallen down time and time again, not the managerial ability to complete a plan.
Ms. Adams, you mentioned the recent City of Yes rezoning that you were instrumental in helping to pass. It's supposed to create tens of thousands of units of housing, but the experience of past rezonings, like the one in downtown Brooklyn, suggests that it can take as long as 10 years or longer for rezonings to result in actual construction. If you're elected mayor, what would be your plan to get units built more quickly than that?
We're going to build it faster, and just to let Mr. Cuomo know, I've got a plan. It's already in the works. It is called the City of Yes, the City for All, something that I have already ushered in. So the work is already being done. We're hearing a lot of plans and policies, but this is something I'm already doing this work. We have already begun the works for the City for All, and in that proposal, it is the most aggressive rezoning proposal in a generation for this city, to build upwards of 82,000 affordable units for New Yorkers. We want to keep people here. I want my children to stay here. I'm an everyday New Yorker. I don't want them leaving because New York is not affordable for them. And so I have made sure that there is $5 billion that is put into the City for All proposal. So, Mr. Cuomo, we are going to take care of the HPD vacancies within that $5 billion. We're going to make sure that communities like mine in Southeast Queens are protected, infrastructure is protected. We're going to make sure that we've got extended and expanded access to city FEPS vouchers. We're going to make sure that there are repairs available for NYCHA residents and Mitchell-Lama residents. And we're going to make sure that homeowners also have access to funding to make sure that the homeowners have repairs. We won't have to look at foreclosure in the volume, and we don't have to look at deed theft in the volume. I'm already doing the work. I'm already there.
Thank you.
And still on housing, and to bring the last two of you into it, Mr. Tilson, you said...
Yeah, AJ, you need to relax, okay? There will be no toxic old man Yowie. There's already enough toxic old man Yowie with Donald Trump as president, okay? No more. No more Yowie. I've had enough of Yowie. No more. I've had enough.
In the last debate, that your housing construction plan is the opposite of Mr. Mamdani's. More private sector, less public. Can you elaborate on that in your 60 seconds, and then we'll hear Mr. Mamdani argue for his approach?
Sure. If I were to summarize my plan in 4 words, it'd be unleash the private sector. That is the only way to rapidly build...
Abundance, 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 abundance. Who loves the... I heckin' love the abundance agenda, because we need the private sector more than ever. Totally heckin' super epic.
Anything like the scale that we're talking about. I said it's the opposite of his plan, because his plan is to spend $100 billion city dollars to build affordable housing. So my plan, I don't think this should take 10 years if you truly do it, and it's not just zoning regs. It's all the whole bureaucracy going through the city government agencies. It's going through the whole Euler process. This can be done. Austin, Texas is a good example. Their rents went up 25% in the year 2021. The city leaped.
This is the exact argument that all the fucking abundance agenda dumbasses go with all the time, by the way. Hey, you said that their rents went up. Because that's exactly what people are going to want. Rents to go up in order to build more fucking affordable housing, but you're going to fucking price out everyone else by raising the fucking rents. The only reason, and this was like someone talking in the majority report, someone called in where the abundance guys kind of get this wrong. When they're talking about the reason why a lot of fucking goddamn, housing is going up, it's not because of a space issue. It's not because of like any particular other issues. Developers are not willing to build the fucking goddamn lots because they say to investors, here is how we're going to make money, by raising the rents. That is the main fucking problem. It's just like the space exists. The lots are already allotted and everything. They're already there for affordable housing. The problem is that the fucking goddamn developers and landlords want the fucking rent money. That's what it's all about. Again, it turns out the main problem with the fucking goddamn abundance agenda, as always, is the fact that it's not addressing the root cause issues as to why housing is unaffordable as it is. It's because of fucking housing developers wanting to make fucking profit. Crazy.
Into action quickly, change the zoning rules. They increase supply by 15% in 3 years and rents drop by 20%. I don't just want to stabilize rent. I think we can drop rents in the city. That's the objective. But right now, it's outrageous that businesses and real estate developers have to hire expediters to deal with the city bureaucracy. So it's a much bigger problem. The mayor controls most or all of this.
Yeah, this is all it's complete, utter bunk and bullshit. He's fucking full of shit.
I'm done.
I met a grandmother in a senior center in Brownsville, and she came up to me and told me that she'd been on a waiting list for 7 years for senior housing, and that she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to stay in the city any longer. The reason that my campaign is committing to building 200,000 truly affordable homes is because if we don't, we will lose the very New Yorkers who built this city. And we will lose them unless we rapidly scale up the programs we already have. Programs in HPD like SARA, Senior Affordable Rental Apartments, ELA, extremely low-level affordability, the very kind of programs that are built for the New Yorkers who are being priced out of the market. And we do this while also ensuring that it is easier to build even for the private sector. We end the requirement to build parking. We end this piecemeal approach that we've taken, instead having a city-wide comprehensive planning approach. These are the kinds of ways in which we can actually ensure that we start to build more than 4 houses per 1,000 people, that we actually start to get out to Jersey City and Tokyo and build the housing that's necessary in the city.
To finish this round, by a show of hands, I will translate for the radio audience, how many of you would support a rent-stabilized rent freeze this year? Hands up if you do. Okay, the ones whose hands are up are Stringer, Myrie, Mamdani, and Lander. Not up.
State the question, please.
Would you support donors who give $2.5 million to freeze the rent?
In the rent stabilization this year, rent freeze this year. Yes or no, Mr. Cuomo?
Would I vote for a rent freeze this year?
Yes.
I'd leave it to the Rent Guidelines Board.
Who controls it? The mayor.
We appoint them. The law controls them. You should read it.
The law didn't control you, did it?
You should read it.
Ms. Adams, your hand was not up, was it? Why not? Oh, it was
There has to
raised.
be a balance there
So only
between
Mr.
homeowners and
Pilson's hand
homeowners.
was not up. Okay, that was a yes or no.
very
And finally,
great
also on a show of hands,
Cuomo there.
on rent-freeze or no, a listener to my show asks, would you be open to tying rent increases to landlord rates of return, their profits, rather than simply on 1 year's costs? Yes or no if you're open to tying the increases to profits rather than 1 year's cost increase? Who would say yes to that change or that proposal? I don't see any hands.
Brian, it is part of the formula already.
It's part of the formula.
It is part of the formula. Now you look at a variety of factors, including net operating income relative to cost, as it should be.
Mr. Landers is right. That is the law. You look at the costs that the landlord is incurring, and that's how you set the rent increase if you do.
But also the profits. The profit margins.
Yeah, they do an economic analysis.
Yeah.
That's what the Rent Guidelines Board does.
Thank you. And this question is from Mr. Cuomo, because it did come up earlier. Many voters are grappling with how to disqualify you or not after the sexual harassment findings that led to your resignation as governor. How do you argue people should consider that factor and let the other candidates
Sexual
debate?
harassment.
Yeah, I would ask them to look at the facts and not the political rhetoric that you hear on the stage. I said when the report was issued, it was all political. That's what I said.
Ah, it was political. Right, of course. Even though you've been found credibly accused for sexual harassment, but it's all politics, guys. Yeah, whoa. I don't want to say anything. It's all politics, guys. Politics. Yeah. You know. Why does anyone bring this up? It's all political, guys. Yeah, sure, totally.
And I said nothing was going to come of it. 4 years later, we've had 5 district attorneys, Democrat, Republicans, upstate, downstate. They've all looked at them. Nothing has come of them whatsoever. There has been one civil case that's been resolved. I was dropped from the case. So absolutely nothing has come except political fodder for my opponents and political fodder at the time.
Do any other candidates want to chime in?
You admitted at the time that you called a 25-year-old staffer into your office and asked her questions about whether she had older partners and whether she was available, and intimated that you were looking for a partner.
Like, we can even fucking find that, right? What? Andrew Cuomo talking to a 25-year-old. We can find that, right? He's admitted to it, right? New York Times, Andrew Cuomo questioned for 11 hours by New York Attorney General's office in sexual harassment inquiry. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the claim. Oh, here we go. This is the hyphen. The allegations against the governor include one that emerged in a February New York Times article. Charlotte Bennett, a 25-year-old former executive assistant and health policy advisor to Cuomo, told the newspaper that during one of several uncomfortable encounters, Cuomo asked her questions about her sex life during a conversation in the state capitol office, and said he was open to relationships with women in their 20s. Okay, bro, you're not slick like Leo, okay? You ain't got it, bro. You got fucking you got like the fucking goddamn flappy shit on your fucking neck, okay? You're starting to develop a neck pussy, okay, bro? You ain't got it. Get the fuck out of here. She interpreted the exchange, which she said took place in June 2020, while the state was in the throes of fighting the pandemic, as what the newspaper called clear overtures to a sexual relationship. Oh, and another former aide, Lindsay Boylan, accused Cuomo of sexual harassment, including an unwanted kiss. Oof. In a February Medium post, Boylan alleged that he kissed her on the lips following a one-on-one briefing in his New York City office in 2018. Escalating backlash against Cuomo prompted him to release a statement at the time that acknowledged some of his comments in the workplace may have been too insensitive or too personal, and he said he was truly sorry to those who might have misinterpreted the remarks as unwanted flirtation. Yeah. Nice meme, dude.
Everybody here knows that you sexually harass women, that you created a toxic work environment. We're here with all these CUNY students, many of them young women. I went to the city college commencement. There's the valedictorian is going to come work at the Department of Homeless Services. I don't want to have to tell her, don't go work at City Hall because the mayor is a sexual harasser.
Those are just bold-faced lies.
You
and you know
admitted at the time.
It's frightening that you can look at a camera and lie that easily.
You admitted it at the time.
I never said that.
He's just mad. He's so mad, dude. Mad. I wonder if Cuomo's gonna accuse Zohran of being a creep just because he's Muslim. Wouldn't surprise me.
Never said that. And by the way, that has been totally disproven by every court that has looked at it, every legal proceedings. Yes, they do, sir. A report was issued. The DAs looked at it. Yeah. They all disagree with you. I was dropped from the case. So those are the facts.
The Biden Justice Department and the Attorney General of the state of New York. And again, it was reported that you admitted at the time that it was a mistake to call that 25-year-old into your office. Folks can check the record.
And the Attorney General,
know if he worked for you, you would fire him.
Attorney General.
We just checked it, right? You know, we just saw this, right? May have been too insensitive or too personal, right? It's a statement of omission there, Andrew. It's a bit of a statement of omission.
The Attorney General's report was determined by a court to be hearsay and not a finding at all. I understand Mr. Lander is just appalled.
The women accused you of sexual harassment are calling hearsay.
The district attorneys looked at all those complaints and not a single case.
We're going in circles. Let's move on.
Better than the facts.
This is disqualifying. The man resigned. Should be obvious. The problem is we do not get to address the issues that New Yorkers care about.
That's just what we're going to do. That's just what we're going to do. Just hang on. We are done with this topic. We're going to move on to the next one, candidates. Let's talk about quality of life, concerns about disorder and public safety. The number of complaints about disorderly conduct in New York City have nearly tripled compared to the pre-pandemic year of 2018. Arrests for disorderly conduct have risen significantly, but New Yorkers still say they are less satisfied about their quality of life than in the past. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Lander. Do you want the NYPD to address quality of life violations, or is there some other way to do it? And how would you address concerns about quality of life without violating constitutional rights or opening the door to accusations of illegal profiling?
As mayor, my number one priority will be to end street homelessness for people with serious mental illness. When I talk to people about what's influencing their quality of life, what would they like change? They would like to be able to get on the subway and feel safer. Last week I talked about a friend whose middle school student was pushed to the ground by a mentally ill homeless person. But we don't have to be a city where a couple thousand of our mentally ill neighbors sleep on subway platforms and the sidewalks and stoops of our buildings. And yes, of course, NYPD have a role to play in keeping neighborhoods safe, getting guns off the street, but no amount of policing is going to connect a homeless mentally ill person to the housing and services that they actually need. The plan that will is called Housing First. It's working in Houston and Denver and Salt Lake City. We used it here to end street homelessness for veterans, and I will use it to end street homelessness for people with serious mental illness, and that'll be a city with a dramatically better quality of life for everyone.
Okay. Mr. Springer.
Let me try to answer your direct question, which is the issue of quality of life. And to me, someone who has spent his entire life here, who's raising kids here, people do not want to live with trash. They don't want to live with broken sidewalks. They don't want a 311 system that can't resolve the basic day-to-day issues that New Yorkers face. We've gotten away from that kind of work. You know, swagger to me is different than swagger at City Hall today. Swagger means I feel satisfied when we help somebody get the services we need. How I'm going to do it specifically? We've got to have deputy mayor for quality of life and institute what I call quality stat, meaning there's a lot of agencies apart from the police that actually are responsible for the day-to-day running of the city and resolving complaints and issues. We need to measure that. We need to look at the data at 311. We need to do the follow-ups. I'm going to be the mayor in the Ed Koch mode that comes to town hall meetings and communities just like I did as controller, roll my sleeves up, go in front of hundreds of people and say, let me have it. What do you want? What's going on? And I will resolve the complaint in 24 hours. That's the kind of mayor that we need in the city to keep people here and to make sure that we become the beacon of the greatest city in the world.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
You know, when I speak to New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, what I hear time and time again are these very kinds of complaints. Complaints around the cleanliness of our streets, complaints around whether the parks that they love can actually be maintained. And so many of them come back to a mayoral administration that has underfunded city agencies time and time.
Yeah, I also said the same thing, Alex. Yeah, crime overall has been down because, listen, why did crime initially start going up in the New York City subway? Because of COVID and no one was fucking using them. And what did fucking Cuomo do about it? And the fucking mayor at the time, what they do about it, which was Eric Adams, they were just like, what if we just put in more police in their forehead? And guess what? It didn't fucking work at all. Whoa, it made everything worse, actually. So that's epic and cool. And guess what? As soon as the pandemic ended and people started using the subway again, crime went down. Oh, shocker.
Time again, literally requesting to take garbage cans off of sidewalks. That's what we've had for the last 4 years. I'm proud to have been endorsed by DC 37, the single largest labor union representing municipal workers in this city, the people who run this city, trust me to lead this city. And what I will do is fully fund each one of those agencies to ensure that we are not just providing public service, we're providing public excellence so that each and every New Yorker is finally receiving the quality of life that they deserve living in the city.
Okay. And so, Mr. Myrie, really in a lot of ways what I'm getting at is that the city government and a lot of voters, frankly, will reflexively reach for the NYPD as the best tool to handle what they perceive as disorder, which some people say is kind of a stepping stone towards crime or in some ways a precursor to it. What's your take on that and how would you handle it?
Yeah, let me first say, Scott, you got a little bit of swag. You got some sneakers on today, so I don't want you to discount yourself. All right, very good. So let me say this. Look, I walk the streets, I take the subways just like you do. And part of the reason that people are frustrated with politics is because you walk the streets, you take the subways, and then you listen to folks on the stage, and it's completely divorced from your reality. Here's what I want to do. I think we need police and clinician teams in our subways and our streets 24/7 to get people on the path to real recovery. New Yorkers are compassionate people, but we want to ensure that people are actually getting that help. So I want stabilization centers in every borough so that we can deliver that help. Public safety requires us to do two things. We understand that police officers are necessary, but we also have to invest in the things we know prevent crime and disorder in the first place. That's why I want 50,000 more summer youth jobs, so that it is universal. We have no young person on a waiting list. Stop telling our kids what not to do without giving them something to do. I want universal after school as well, so that we can have a safe place to be and have our families have.
That's not actually a terrible suggestion. I see what's being said here. You know, give the youth something to do. I guess, I don't really like the sort of framing about that, but, you know, being able to put people in, good jobs, good, well-paying union jobs, that's, the biggest stipulation. Eric Adams is running as an independent. So, he's running. He's just not as an independent, though. But, that's, a terrible suggestion. The main problem that I have with shit like this, should be fairly obvious, is just, well, it depends on how good the fucking job is. If it's a decent, good, fulfilling job. I don't think this is a terrible suggestion, to be honest. I don't hate it, you know? It's funny how everyone on the stage are corrupt Indian politicians, but Zohran is the only Indian. True. But yeah, I don't hate the suggestion. It's an alright suggestion. Not the worst.
Have a place where their children can stay.
Okay, Mr. Pilson.
Yes, to answer your question directly about enforcing more quality of life issues. For example, I ride my bike almost every day in the city. The e-bikes are fast and dangerous, and we're riding up on the sidewalks, blowing through red lights, and cops started enforcing it. And I can tell you, being out there every day, they're now obeying the law. That is the kind of thing that contributes to the feeling of lack of safety. I will say that what I would not do is...
Bro, you're complaining about fucking e-bikes, bro? The e-bikes! No, Eric Adams is nonsense. I mean, this guy is pretty much like, in terms of like the stuff he believes, is pretty much like Eric Adams. But, you know. Doesn't have the shoe polish on, I guess, or some shit.
demonize the police by calling them wicked and corrupt, by threatening to defund and dismantle them, as Zohran has done. And we're at a 34-year low in the number of police officers.
Cope. Dude, the NYPD is one of the most fucking corrupt institutions. Bro, they're literally working with ICE right now. Like, the city council wants to fucking investigate them for their cooperation with ICE. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, I guess, like, totally, dude. Like, Zohran wants to dismantle the NYPD by basically saying, like, hey, man, like, maybe instead of having them work on, like, mental health problems and stuff like that, and having to do the work of social workers, maybe we should have the police actually work on stuff that they were meant to do, like investigating crime and stuff like that. Oh, hey, Whitney Tilson, what are you pulling at right now? What's he pulling at right now? What's he pulling at right now? Where is he? Oof, 1%. Oof, not looking good for your campaign. It's Michael Blake. That was the other guy who was constantly bullying Cuomo. Fuck. I wanted him on the stage so he could keep bullying Cuomo. It was Michael Blake. That was his name. The tall black dude.
There's only one candidate on the stage, him, who has not said that he would try and build that number back up. So I think his Department of Community Safety, which he talks about, is just backdoor.
Yeah, because it doesn't need to be built back up, you fucking moron. The problem is that they do too many fucking jobs. But again, you don't give a fuck about that because you're an abunda agenda guy. You love the fucking abundance. Whoa! I heckin' loved abundance. Fucking moron.
Or code word for continue to defund the police. They are demoralized, they're understaffed, and we've created a revolving door where an officer at the Midtown North Precinct, very close to here, actually told me she is still filling out the paperwork for most of her arrests, and the criminal's back out onto the street before she's finished. Did you want to respond?
I want to say it very clearly, because both Mr. Tilson and Andrew Cuomo's Republican billionaire donors have been lying about me on our television screens and right now.
True.
I will not defund the police. I will work with the police because I believe the police have a critical role to play in creating public service, public safety. And fundamentally, when I put together our proposal for the Department of Community Safety, it was built upon the many conversations I had with rank-and-file officers who had told me that they signed up to join the department to take on serious crimes, and yet what they were being asked to do is play the roles of mental health professionals and social workers. And that is part of the reason why 65% of crimes in the first quarter of this year are still not solved. We need to ensure police can focus on those crimes, and we have mental health professionals and social workers to address and tackle and resolve the mental health crisis and homelessness.
I just want to clarify. Whitney, did you not talk about my police retention plan, or you didn't?
Come on, Scott. Ms. Adams, I want to bring in the conversation because you were at City Hall when the funding question came up that has been interpreted by some as defund the police. What was happening then in that particular session with that particular proposal? And if you're elected, what would you do about this question of where and when and if the police get involved in quality of life policing?
Thank you for asking the clarifying question, Errol, very much. The FY 2021 budget season was a very, very tough season for the New York City Council and quite frankly for the mayoral administration as well. We were still masked up in the pandemic, and New York City was very, very underfunded as a city. We were looking towards going in the hole, if you will. So several city agencies had to take a haircut. The NYPD was one of those agencies, as were many, many city agencies. Heck, the New York City Council, we had to take a haircut. So there was funding reallocation that happened across the board for New York City because of the pandemic. So, I mean, services were cut. Many folks out there realized that some park services were cut, and other services were cut as well, unfortunately. So that was the climate that we were in, quite frankly, during the pandemic season. As mayor, though, I know that New York City is fiscally found. Our issue right now is going to be Trump-proofing the New York City, Trump-proofing New York City, which I am doing right now as one who is negotiating the fourth New York City budget, something that no one else on this stage can say. And we've already put aside in reserves through my leadership on the council $1.9 billion to begin to protect the people of the city of New York from Donald Trump's harsh cuts. We want the administration to not match us, go above us. We're going to need to make sure that our resources are protected, that our nonprofits are protected, that our children, our seniors, our healthcare is protected. And as leader of the city council, I've already made a start in doing just that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah, if we wonder why the people watching this are frustrated, it's because of the disconnect of what they're hearing. They are afraid on the streets. They feel unsafe. You can quote statistics all day long. They get afraid walking into the subway. They get afraid walking down the street when they see a mentally ill.
Yeah, we get it. You want to beat homeless people, okay? Like, just how you wanted to, like, try to beat up the pussy of a fucking 25-year-old or some shit, okay? Nice fucking meme, dude. All right, we get it. You want to beat homeless people with batons. Boys, get out your sticks. Get out your fucking stick. Yeah, even, Myron? The fucking black lawyer guy, okay? He says he fucking rides the subway every day. I'm really bad with fucking names. But, listen, Cuomo, he wants to get his, up. I see a homeless person. We must engage. Yeah. yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what he fucking wants. No, it's the other dude. It's the lawyer guy, not Michael Blake. But yeah, that's what Cuomo wants. He wants to be like, all right, boys, get ready to move out. We got some homeless people to beat up. Up, 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 up. Ah, ah, ah. That's basically Andrew Cuomo's fucking plan. But let's take a quick look. New York City subway safety. There's gotta be some statistics on this or something. New York, well, quick AI overview. New York City is statistically quite safe, with millions of riders traveling daily without incident. While crime has increased slightly since 2019, it remains a rare exception compared to the number of trips taken. Recent initiatives focus on increased police presence, blah, 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 blah. But generally speaking, seen as safe. Very, very cool. Yeah, but Daniel Penny, yeah, the random dude who just attacked someone. From 2024 to from 2014 to 2024, number of violent incidents, including misdemeanor assaults, has nearly doubled. To 2,745 to 1,445, and it's up 15% since 2019. I'm very curious. Can we get like a graph? Is there any graphs? I would like to see some statistics about this. I'm very, very curious. How rare is it really? Any fucking, what? Well, this is a local paper saying it's statistically quite safe. Are there any graphs? Can I get some, can I get a linky in the chat, please? I'm looking for a graph. Because from what I understand, it's been, generally speaking, been going down. Well, these are completely useless. Stats. Did it say 1 in every 2 million rides? That's not very high. Tale of two narratives. Off the subway, on the subway. Wow, that's like fucking nothing, dude. It's gone up very slightly. And in comparison to off the subway, it's like fucking nothing. But we want to have like a schizophrenic conniption, and it's been going down. Yeah, it's the same site. But this is doing a comparison to off the subway versus on the subway. Also, what is meant by this? What is meant by off the subway? Both narratives hold elements of truth. While the absolute number of violent crimes has risen since 2019, the relative risk per ride remains low. To the first point, there were 1,120 violent index crimes reported as occurring on the subway in 2023, compared to 935 in 2019, a 20% increase, figure 1. Notably, though, the increase in crime is not confined to the city's subways, as is being expressed here. Yeah, no, apparently, like, it's talking about the subway, which means it's either inside of the actual whole subway itself, go away, and outside of it, probably, I think is what is being said here as outside of in the city itself. Notably, though, the increase in crime is not confined to the city subway. Since 2019, reported violent index crime has increased more than 30% outside of the city subways. About 50% more than the 20% increase observed on the subway. Yeah, like a criminal or some shit. I don't know. Like, whatever. It could be anything. Like petty crime or some shit. Partly a product of the fact that the violent index crimes on the subway dipped in 2023. Partly a product of the fact that violent index crimes in the subway dipped in 2023, while violent incidents outside the subway continued to increase. Why? We could think of why. The affordability crisis is what's fucking contributing to this. That's the fucking issue. But in the subway, it's starting to go down. Interesting. Yeah, that is true. If you were to put Andrew Cuomo in the fucking goddamn subway, there probably would be an increased number of criminals in the subway. That is also true. So this is Cuomo, not exactly accurate here. Kind of lying here a little bit.
A homeless person. We did defund the police. We did. We cut $1 billion from the police. People on the stage said, defund the police. That was the chant. And $1 billion was taken from the police department. Mr. Mamdani says he would dismantle the police. That's his expression. Mr. Lander said, I'll admit, progressives like...
Wow, they're just fucking lying. Wow, he's lying. That's cool. Just lies? We're just gonna lie. Cool.
Me was slow to recognize the problems of crime and quality of life and mopeds.
See, it's not so
and
difficult to
weed.
take responsibility, is it?
That's what he said, that they were slow to realize the crime that people were living with. We have to get back to safety. I would add 5,000 police officers. Yes, we need mental health professionals who also help work with the mentally ill, and they're two totally separate things. But this city has to be safe. Opportunity for youth is part of it. But if people don't feel safe, Harold, they're not going to stay. End of story.
Okay, real quick.
All right, so Cuomo's
Yeah, I mean, I think New Yorkers want accountability. They want accountability when people commit crimes. They want accountability when officers use excessive force. They want accountability when top brass violate their office. And they want accountability from elected officials. So yes, I said we were slow to reckon with rising disorder. Here's how I'm going to actually deliver it. You've never taken responsibility for one single thing you've done wrong in your entire life. Not one single thing. You should try it sometime.
Okay, Ms. Adams, real quick.
I just want to clear up the whole defund.
Bro is still bullying the Cuomo about the fact that he fucking groped women. that is because that is the best way to fucking deal with a dipshit like Andrew Cuomo. It's like, bro, you still fucking groped women. Like, Cope is bald about it. Cope, massive Cope. Yeah, good. Yeah, keep bullying him about it.
Mystery here that keeps on being used as far as the New York City Council and the FY 2021 budget is concerned. Let's just be clear. The budget is negotiated with the mayoral administration. The NYPD is a part of the mayoral administration, and the reallocation of funds was done with the knowledge of the NYPD, not in any far-off land, far away. I don't know how long you've been out of it, Mr. Cuomo, but it's been a while. So I just want to make sure that we are clear here tonight. Old slogans and scare tactics aren't going to make anybody in New York City safer.
Okay, candidates, thank you. Candidates, we're going to move on to our lightning round. That's where each candidate will answer our questions with a brief response, usually yes or no. I'm going to start with a show of hands one. Despite changes in technology, do you still have a Metro card in your wallet? Show of hands. Mr. Myrie, Mr. Cuomo, Ms. Adams still have the Metro card. God bless you.
Myrie.
Name one department that you would make cuts to. We'll go right down the line. Mr. Tilson. Lightning.
There's so many to choose from. I think there's a lot of fat cut in the DOE budget, but there are areas I would invest more in.
DOE means Department of Education, not...
Ooh, of course this little fucking abundance liberal piece of shit wants to go after education. Ooh. Hey, that 1%'s about to be cut to 0% real fucking quick. Because of you, little abundance fucking gremlin minion. Classic. Classic as always.
Board of Elections. Mr. Stringer.
As controller, I identified efficiencies in every city agency to make them more run better and efficient. So it's not about cutting or targeting one agency. It's really about doing due diligence in all the agencies.
Mr. Myrie.
Yeah, I think New Yorkers experience city services every day. It's not about who has what. It's about how we're delivering. So I think it's important that we are efficient in that. I think we can shift some funding from the Economic Development Corporation to our city's general
Okay,
fund.
Ms. Mamdani.
I think we have to end our city's addiction to consulting and contracts. We're currently paying McKinsey millions of dollars to design a trash can. You don't have to do that.
Mr. Lander.
Last year, we paid out $2 billion in claims against the city. I'll put them on the books of city agencies so they have an incentive to reduce them. They can keep half the savings. It's hundreds of millions of dollars we can save.
Mr. Cuomo.
City government hasn't been properly managed in 12 years. It needs an overhaul from top to bottom. That's what I think has to be done.
Where would you start?
I think if housing is a top priority, I would start with HPD because that's one of the first jobs we have to start.
Okay, Ms. Adams.
You know, I'm still negotiating the city budget, the only one on the stage that's doing this thing. So let's just be real about it. The mayor actually implemented pegs that took away headcount from many city agencies. So I don't think that we're in the space right now to cut anything. We do need to reform and revamp city agencies. So what we need to do is take a look at, as was said, contracts. We've got a lot of bloated contracts out there, primarily because of the cronyism under Eric Adams.
In this lightning round, just 3 yes or no questions from me. Is it
bullying Eric
logistically
Adams,
possible, Ms. Adams first, to close Rikers by 2027? Yes or no?
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
No, the law is a joke.
Mr. Lander.
Not a joke, but not by 2027 either.
Mr. Mamdani.
No, Eric Adams has made it functionally impossible.
Mr. Myrie.
No, but it needs to close.
Mr. Stringer.
No.
And Mr. Tilson.
No, not by 2032 either.
We'll go the other order on yes or no. Do you support an expansion of red light cameras, Mr. Tilson?
Absolutely.
Mr. Stringer.
Yes.
Absolutely, and I voted for it in Albany.
Thank you, Mr. Myrie. Mr. Mamdani.
Yes, and unlike Andrew Cuomo, I know you can't turn right on red in New York City.
Mr. Lander.
Woof.
Yes, and with real accountability.
Yeah, that's the fucking zinger there about what Andrew Cuomo basically. That's a similar law to Quebec, to Montreal, because you can turn right on red anywhere in Montreal except on the island. You can't do it on the island, right? Because New York City is the island. You can't turn right on reds in New York Island, I assume, right? Anyone from New York in the chat? We got anyone from New York? Is that how it works? Is it similar to Montreal in that respect? I'm not 100% certain, but that's how it works in Montreal. Like, if you're on the island, no right on reds. If you're anywhere else, just not on the fucking island, you can turn right on reds, no problem. You can't turn right on red in Manhattan. There we go. Well, that's a big part of New York, but not the whole island. But whatever. Not sure how much corruption is going on there, but trash can design is important, especially when you buy millions for a city. listen, dude. I don't think most of these Abunda dumbasses. I don't think they understand that, Alex.
Mr. Cuomo? Yes. Yes. And one more. We'll start in the middle with Mr. Mamdani. Have you ever voted for a Republican?
No.
Mr. Myrie?
I have not. I voted for a Democrat that ended up caucusing with the Republicans. That's why I ran for state senate in 2018.
Mr. Stringer?
Hey, listen, hey, Myrie, listen, you want to know who fucking did that? Oh, that was Andrew Cuomo who fucking did that. You know? So he doesn't have to pass progressive fucking legislation? I mean, it is a dumbass question, but here, listen, why don't we can use this as an excuse to make fun of Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, making, Democrats caucus with Republicans. This was a scheme he came up with as governor. Why did he fucking do this? It's called the Independent Democratic Conference. The reason he did this is because, he wanted to not pass any fucking progressive legislation. Politico reported that Cuomo had been actively involved in the formation of the Independent Democratic Conference 3 years earlier, which gave control of the state Senate to Republicans. He has been accused of failing to bridge the rift between the IDC and the Democratic caucus in the Senate. Because again, guess what the fucking Democrats would have had? They would have had a majority in all the fucking state legislature and the governorship. Which means they could pass any fucking legislation that they want. But Andrew Cuomo forced about 8 Democrats to form the Independent Democratic Conference to have them caucus with the fucking Republicans. So then, guess what? No legislation would get passed. Which he got fucking investigated for. Andrew Cuomo. Nice fucking meme. This little fucking corrupt shithead.
Ever voted for a Republican, Mr. Stringer?
Never in my life.
Mr. Tilson? Sure.
Bloomberg.
Miss Adams?
No.
Mr. Cuomo? No. And Mr. Lander? No.
This first question is a two-parter. I'll start with you, Mr. Tilson. What is your favorite park or playground in the city, and would you, as mayor, commit to at least 1% of the city budget going to the Parks Department?
Yes, I raised 3 daughters in the city. They're now in their 20s. Shout out to my youngest graduating from college in 2 days, actually. And I ran the Daddy Olympics in Central Park every day. We circled the park and had a number of favorite playgrounds. I'd say the favorite we call playground number 1, which is at 96th and 5th. And I've actually called for permanently making the parks budget 1% of the city budget, so it increases with the city's budget. Their parks are our gems.
Mr. Stringer.
1% for parks because every kid deserves outdoors, and we have to make sure we fix all the parks, not just in wealthy communities. But look, my favorite park is where the kids want to play. So if it's on a basketball court, I'm there. If it's Central Park, I'm there. Rockefeller Park, I'm there. I have no decision making at this. It's all up to them.
Mr. Meyer.
My favorite park is Prospect Park, and my parents... Let's go, yeah, Prospect Park in the house. My parents are here in the audience with us, and it is where I learned how to ride a bike. It is where they took me throughout my childhood. So I absolutely would commit to 1% to our city's parks. It's a shame that we have not done that already.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would absolutely commit 1% of the city budget to the Parks Department. I'm proud to have done so over the course of this campaign, and I have to say that my favorite park is the Story Park.
Mr. Lander.
Zohran Mamdani is right on this question. Prospect Park is the best park in New York City, and my kids are here, and they play baseball and learn to ride their bikes. And I was just at the Celebrate Brooklyn concert opening. Yes, we'll do 1%, but we've got to focus it on the parks that need it most. I passed a law that helps us do that, and as mayor, I'll make sure we focus on those parks that have been way too long neglected.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, for the 1%. And I'd also like to see the private sector get involved with conservancies, not just Central Park. It's beautiful. It's Manhattan. But there are other boroughs also. Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Staten Island, etc.
Yeah, dude, because the central... Yeah, we definitely need fucking more dumbass private sector work with the fucking parks, dude. Isn't that, like, one of the biggest problems with, like, New York is the fact that there is so much fucking private sector fucking investment within the fucking park system? You know. Nice meme, dude.
My favorite park is Cunningham Park in Queens, and 1%, but let's get conservancy set up for all the parks.
Ms. Adams.
We definitely have to get to the 1%. We've been fighting in the council for as long as I've been in the council to get there. My favorite park has to be Baisley Pond Park in Jamaica, Queens. Of course, that's my district, my park. But we got to get rid of those fragmites.
And this is a quick one. It's a 1 or 2 word answer. I'll start with you, Ms. Adams. Which borough have you spent the least amount of time in?
Staten Island.
Mr. Cuomo.
I would say Staten Island.
Mr. Lander.
Staten Island.
Mr. Mamdani.
The beacon of free transit, Staten Island.
Mr. Myrie.
I'd say Staten Island.
Mr. Stringer.
I've been doing this.
Yeah, isn't that where all the conservatives are? Staten Island? Is that why? Yeah, it's that's where all the dumb fuck conservatives are, and no one likes those guys. let's be honest here. It's because of the conservatives.
Everywhere.
So no, all equal?
They're all equal, including Staten Island.
Mr. Tilson? It was almost this week.
Okay. All right, we are going to take a short break now. When we come back, we'll bring you the cross-examination round, where each candidate will ask one opponent one question. And because this election will require New Yorkers to rank their candidates, we want to take a moment to explain how ranked choice voting works, courtesy of the Campaign Finance Board. The debate will continue in just a few minutes.
There's a new way for New Yorkers to have their say in city elections. Choice voting is already popular.
With the 7 leading Democratic candidates. Now it is time for the cross-examination round. That's when each candidate gets a chance to ask one question of one rival.
They're going to yell at each other.
We'll begin with Scott Stringer.
Thank you all. My question is for Adrian Adams. So during the City of Yes negotiations, you successfully brought billions of dollars in benefits and opportunity on top of City of Yes. As you know, I've been campaigning because I really do believe we have a realistic opportunity to take those parcels of land and turn them into affordable housing. Do you envision, or would you sort of signal that that idea could be coupled with funding, the funding that you obtain when you start thinking about your own housing, implementing your own housing agenda, if you were mayor?
Well, Scott, thank you for the question, and thank you for recognizing that I have ushered in billions of dollars for housing for the people of the city of New York. Thank you for that. As mayor, I would be open to any feasible option of housing, expanding it for the people of the city of New York. We got to continue this. My work has just been the floor and not the ceiling, so I'm more than willing to expand on the great work that I'm still doing as city council speaker.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Martin.
My question is also for Speaker Adams. We have seen over the past 2 decades 200,000 black New Yorkers leave this city. We know that this is a top issue for most New Yorkers, the cost of living here. And I'm wondering if you can talk to us about ushering through the City of Yes and what implications that has for black New Yorkers who are struggling to stay in the city and what we could be building on going forward.
Love the question. Thank you very much, Senator. And again, thank you for referencing the City of Yes champion.
Parks suck now anyways. They won't be able to make giant wooden castles anymore. That's true.
By the City Council Speaker, Adrian Adams. Thank you so much. Yeah, within the proposal, which the City Council renamed City for All, we've built in financial safeguards for black families, many of whom I'm sure, as you know also, we've seen leave our city in droves over the past 2 decades, and we want to make sure that our families stay here. That is why we have built in within that $5 billion in the proposal, we are protecting homeowners so that homeowners in disrepair can repair their homes. That is built in through the financing. We've also built in repairs for NYCHA families, for Mitchell-Lama residents as well. Rochdale Village is a Mitchell-Lama, the second largest Mitchell-Lama in the city of New York within my own district. So we have built in financial safeguards.
Okay, I'm not very sure. What the fuck is a Mitchell-Lama? This is me being an uninformed Canadian. What the fuck is a Mitchell-Lama? What the fuck does that mean? I'm being an uninformed Canadian right now.
Protect our black families of color from leaving New York. This is something, again, I live in a black family. I don't want my children to leave, so this is for their protection as well.
Thank you. Mr. Tilson. Yeah, Zohran, you're a proud member of the Democratic Socialists of America. You refer to each other as comrade. And right now on the DSA's website...
Bro, are you actually fucking crazy, dude? Mitchell-Lama. Oh, affordable housing. Okay, gotcha. It's time for Abunda 3IQ dumbass to say something.
It calls for the government ownership of all major industries, to decriminalize all misdemeanors, including theft and assault, to empty our prisons, and to disarm, dismantle, and defund the police. So your words are very reassuring, but this is what I read from your people.
Like cry, cope, seethe, mauled.
And I wonder if you will disavow this or implement it as mayor.
Like, he already said what he's gonna fucking do. Like, we can fucking Google it for you, Whitney Tilson. You know, it's really easy, okay? Like, it's really easy. Yeah, your people, by the way, quote unquote. Hey, listen, I understand that Whitney is not very intelligent with stuff that Zohran Mamdani believes, but yeah, we can just like look up his policies. It's really fucking easy. Here's a website, okay? It's under, listen, Whitney, I understand that you're kind of an idiot, all right? You're very stupid. This term called platform. Oh, here's all of his policies. Oh. Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a look, you knew that. It's very easy. You can probably read. It's not... Is it 1-to-1 for everything what the DSA fucking wants or some shit? It's fucking stupid. You're an idiot.
Yes, like David Diggins, I am a member of the organization, and the organization's platform is not the platform of this campaign. The platform of this campaign is the one you can find on the website at zohranfornyc.com. That's a platform that is going to deliver an affordable city for New Yorkers who are currently being priced out of what is instead the most expensive city in the United States. It's one that we're going to deliver public safety to each and every New Yorker, and we're going to do so by recognizing the critical role that police have to play in that, and also by creating the Department of Community Safety so that police do not have to do the work of mental health professionals, and that we can follow the example, the evidence-based policies we've seen be successful elsewhere in the country, and start to divert those mental health calls outside of the police department so the police department can focus on the 7 major categories of crime.
Okay. Next is from Ms. Adams.
Yes, thank you. I was looking for Errol to look up because he's confusing me. Okay, thank you. I have a question for Assemblymember Mamdani. I know how to pronounce your name.
Thank you very much, Speaker Adams.
Assemblymember, I've raised a family in New York. I have over 20 years of experience in the private sector. I have led the city council through many, many challenges, taken this city through 3 successful budgets and billions of dollars in city budgets now, working on our 4th, which will also be successful, and have been continuing this work for a number of years on the city council. In a recent New York Times article, you said that you were the most qualified person to be mayor of the city of New York. Given what I've just laid out, do you think you're more qualified than me to lead the city?
I very much appreciate your work and your leadership and your track record, Speaker. I think that each one of us on the stage will say that we are the most qualified to lead the city, because if we didn't believe that, then we would have no business running for mayor. And ultimately, I believe that because I believe the most pressing crisis we're facing here is one of affordability. And that is something that my campaign has been laser focused on, and that is why I'm proud to say that we are going to address it by freezing the rent for millions of rent-stabilized tenants, by making the slowest buses in the country fast and free, and by delivering universal childcare to each and every New York family.
Base!
Mr. Lander, your turn.
Peter, will you please stand up? Andrew, this is Peter Arbini. He's been trying to ask you a question for 5 years. His father,
Dude, I love this man, Brad Lander. Dude, he's pulling a fucking Trump. Dude, this is so good. Because when Trump brought the meme is basically what in 2016 when he was debating Hillary Clinton that he brought in a bunch of like victims of Bill Clinton into the fucking debate, being like, listen, Hillary, look at these victims who have alleged that your husband has done sexual assault. Are you gonna take any accountability for what your husband did? Dude, God, I love the hate. I love the hate, the vitriol, the anger. Yes, dude, this man, Brad Lander. It's like, I hand to you, sir. I hand to you.
Norman. His father, Norman, died because of your disastrous order sending people with COVID into nursing homes. Then, as you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years. So tonight, will you finally apologize to Peter and other grieving New Yorkers, or will you just keep... gaslighting them with blather about what a great job you claim you did?
Maybe where you come from in St. Louis, facts don't matter. But here they do. So let's talk about that. First of all, on nursing homes. 1.2 million people died of COVID in the United States. It's horrendous. 83,000 people died in New York State. It is horrendous. It was a pandemic unlike anything we've ever seen. When it comes to nursing homes, we now know the facts because numerous studies have been done. New York State implemented the federal guidance set by CMS, CDC, Dr. Fauci. We implemented it. Other states implemented it. That has been proven over and over and over again. When you look at the total death toll in New York, the rate of death in nursing homes, we're number 38 out of 50 states. Only 12 states had a lower rate of death than New York, which is...
Yeah, but isn't there, like, there's a lot more people that fucking live... If we're gonna do, like, I don't know, like, is he gonna do, like, the per capita fucking argument? Like, if that would make him look really, really fucking bad. Because, like, New York State is a more populous fucking state. There's a lot more people that live in that fucking state in comparison to other states. I mean, obviously, more deaths were in Republican states because they're idiots who are, like, conspiratorial anti-vaxxers. But, again, that doesn't change the fact, Andrew, that, whoa, because of your bad fucking policies, a lot of people fucking died under your watch. Whoopsie!
Incredible, in my opinion, since we had it first and worst, and does not give enough credit to the women and men in those nursing homes who worked so hard. Mr. Arbini lost a father. I am very, very sorry for that. He brought a legal case against the state. The legal case was dismissed. When you look at the papers on the case, there was no COVID-positive person sent from a hospital to the nursing home while Mr. Arbini was in the nursing home. So it is factually impossible, Brad, that he got COVID from someone coming from a hospital.
What a fucking snooty little... What a snooty little bitch.
Mr. Mamdani, you know, I want to address something first, which is that...
You're going to ask a question or not?
I'm going to ask a question, but Brad Lander is more of a New Yorker than Andrew Cuomo is. And to hear all of this about St. Louis, we have to just make this clear.
Now, that is really that is true. Yeah, hey, guess what? Andrew Cuomo, you live in the fucking burbs, dude. What, you probably live in, like, New Jersey or some shit. Ha ha. Or, like, in upstate fucking New York in the, like, little suburbs. You don't know shit about the fucking city.
Now, all of us on the stage...
Wait, who are you going to ask your question to?
I'm asking it to Andrew Cuomo. Okay. I feel like most people would have known I'm going to ask Andrew Cuomo a question.
I knew. And you knew.
We did. We both knew.
We knew. We agree.
All of us on the stage have spoken about how Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy, to the city, to this country. And Andrew Cuomo, you have received millions of dollars in funding from the very billionaires who put Donald Trump back into office. Will you now look at the camera and tell your super PAC to return those millions of dollars, and to your own campaign to return that close to $500,000 to ensure that this is not a race that is bought by those same Trump billionaires?
I know you don't understand the law, but it would be illegal for me to direct an independent expenditure
committee. Is it illegal for you to direct your own campaign?
One question, one answer.
That's the law, okay?
That's
Number
really
two,
funny, dude.
I dealt with Mr. Trump as governor. We had very, very difficult times. I got more help for New York from Trump than anyone expected. New York was one of the few places that he did not send in troops when he sent them everywhere else because he didn't want to deal with me. That's the fact. I got him to send us mass...
Yeah, sure, buddy, totally. Listen, I'm so scared of Andrew Cuomo. I'm so scared, buddy. There's currently a DOJ investigation that has been opened up by the Trump DOJ into you, my dude. If you become mayor of New York, you know what Trump is going to do? He's gonna fucking hold that over your head and being like, well, Andrew, it looks like you're gonna have to listen to everything I do and everything I say, because guess what? You wouldn't want this to be revealed now, Andrew, now wouldn't you? You could do that.
So are you going to return the $500,000 to your own campaign?
And then on your point about, billionaires, let's remember this. I am the candidate on the stage who is supported by more labor unions than any other candidate. 650,000 working men and women support me.
Then why is it
they know
JD
me?
Vance
Let me finish, because they know me and they know my record. The firefighters worked with me in storms. The utility workers endorsed me because I was in Puerto Rico putting the power back together after the storms. Every major union that has endorsed has endorsed me greater than any candidate on the stage.
You get the final question, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah.
You get the final question to anyone on the stage. Yes.
Yeah, from what I that's like, He's coming off as like really fucking petulant and whiny there. This is not a very good look here from Andrew Cuomo. He's looking pretty bad.
My question is to Mr. Pilson. We learned today that, shockingly, Mr. Mamdani is not part of the DSA, but we've heard his plans over and over and over. You're a financial man. You're not a politician, Mr. Tilson. Probably smarter than the rest of us in that regard. But you've heard his plans for how to build housing, how he's going to finance the housing, free buses, how he's going to build grocery stores. And he said he can do all of this, and our taxes will not be any higher than New Jersey's taxes. You're a financial expert. You've heard this 157 times. Is it feasible and...
Dude, this is like, what the fuck is this? What you're gonna get this like 3 IQ sniveling fucking millionaire troglodyte loser to try to attack, like use him as like a little fucking attack dog? What? You too much of a pussy to fucking ask Zohran Mamdani a question yourself? Any of these questions yourself? Pussy, 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 fucking loser.
Financially possible that he is telling the truth.
Nice microphone, you fucking abundance agenda loser. Bro, he literally, it's explained here. Listen, if you say paying for our agenda, it goes into it pretty comprehensively here. But, you know, yeah, it's totally going to be impossible, bro. Yeah, totally, dude. Sure.
The biggest piece of his, he says he will raise the revenue to pay for all the things that I can't even keep track of, all the spending promises he's making, by raising the corporate tax rate to New Jersey's level. What he is failing to acknowledge is that there are already many other city and state taxes that, in fact, if his plan were implemented, would result in New York City businesses paying double the tax rate of New Jersey, triple that of Connecticut, 5 times that of Florida, which would lead to an exodus of businesses and jobs and crush our city. But even more preposterous is that this all has to go through Albany. There is no appetite for what he is calling for. And even if it were to pass the corporate tax rate increase statewide, he's assuming that all the taxes all around the state, the legislature would just hand it to New York City. That's truly delusional. So I want to double taxes in New York City. I want to double spending in New York City. But I want to do it the way Mike Bloomberg did it, by doubling the size of the economy, which he did over 12 years. It's economic growth that we need, not destructive policies that would crush growth.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, candidates. We're going to move on to a new topic. I'm going to ask you as we come down the home stretch. We're in our final half hour. We're going to keep everything a little tighter.
Yeah, what a fucking pussy fucking move there from Cuomo, honestly. That's a puss. Like, that's some fucking real pussy tier shit. Fucking getting the little abundance stooge to fucking do his fucking asking his questions. Yeah, dude, because people, Michael Bloomberg was very, very popular in the state of New York, dude. Yeah, people really liked him. Getting the little fucking abunda dumbass to fucking do it for you. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
And I'll thank you in advance for your cooperation. Let's talk about the fact that even before the war between Israel and Hamas, an unofficial but important task of every New York City mayor has been to bring New Yorkers together, even on issues of passionate concern where finding common ground is difficult.
Israel.
So let's talk for a few minutes about what kind of job you would do in this area. Mr. Mamdani, what is your message to Jewish New Yorkers who are supportive of Israel and fear for their safety in this current political climate?
That I hear them, and that I've heard them over the course of this campaign and before that. After the days of the horrific war crime of October 7th, a friend of mine told me about how he felt sitting in a synagogue for Shabbat services when he heard the door open and a chill went up his spine as he turned around, not knowing who would be there. And I heard that even just recently from a Jewish man in Williamsburg who told me how he locked the very door that used to be unlocked for so many years out of a concern for his safety. I will protect Jewish New Yorkers and deliver them that safety. I will do so as the next mayor of the city. And ultimately, what I will also say is to New Yorkers who have a disagreement with me on any issue, but also on the question of the Israeli government's policies, that disagreement I know is rooted in a shared sense of humanity. And in the words of Ed Koch, if you agree with me on 9 out of 12 issues, vote for me. 12 out of 12, see a psychiatrist.
And just as a follow-up, Mr. Mamdani, when it comes to the boycott and divestment movement aimed at Israel, which you had supported even before this campaign, what would you say to people who feel that that is an existential threat and that despite your position of wanting to keep people safe, they feel like you actually either have a different agenda or are in league with people who have an agenda that makes them feel fundamentally unsafe?
Bro, what? Oh no, you support a fucking a boycott. No, that means you're like the worst thing since Hitler. They feel they're gonna feel unsafe, guys.
Very clear, and I will continue to be so, which is that at the core of my politics is a belief in nonviolence, and that my support for compliance with international law is support for nonviolent movements that seek to do so and build on the example that we saw with South Africa. And ultimately, what my focus will be, however.
Yep, that's pretty much the perfect answer to that question. Talk about South Africa, because that's what this is being based all off of. But you know, all these like dumbass fucking troglodytes are just like, why are you basically Hitler for Jews, my dude? That's kind of like El Krungus. It's all kind of Chungus Bungus McCrungus. It's not very fucking epic or poggers of you, Zohran Mamdani or some shit. Yeah, okay, bro, totally.
Is not on what is happening outside of the city. It is going to be on making sure this is a city that is affordable for each and every New Yorker, what is currently the most expensive city in the country, finally be one that the working class New Yorkers who built it can afford to live in, and to ensure that each and every New Yorker feels represented by me as their mayor. Because you can win an election with a majority, but it is your job to represent every single person across the city.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo, according to Muslim American organizations, you never made a public visit to a mosque during your 10-plus years as governor. Why the reluctance?
Yeah, I believe I have. I would have to check the record. But let me correct the record here, if I might. Mr. Mamdani.
So he's immediately lying. It's probably because, listen, he's racist. No, he's just racist.
is dangerously...
Oh, wait. Let me ask you about this. Because this was an issue with the 2018 campaign when you were running for re-election, when they said that in 7 years you had never visited a mosque. Did something happen in the several years beyond that?
I believe I have. I know I participated in many forums with imams. I am not, off the top of my head, I can't tell you where I went, but I'll check the record. And
so let me just get to the point then. I mean, what would you say to more than 760,000 Muslims here in the city about whether or not you would reach out to them, make them feel welcome, make them feel protected at a time?
I would say we are a city of immigrants. I welcome them. I love them. I'm not Mr. Mamdani. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not divisive. I didn't say I would boycott Israel. I didn't say I would divest from Israel. I didn't say I would sanction it.
Oh, no, you're being so heckin' divisive.
Israel. I don't give forums to anti-Semites. I don't give forums to extremists who blame America.
What fucking anti-Semites are being given forums by Zohran Mamdani? What kind of fucking 3 IQ dog shit is this? What do the Jewish Voices for Peace, are they making you like shaking your fucking britches or some shit? Or something fucking Andrew Cuomo? Or like what? Is that what's going on? Nice fucking meme, dude.
For 9/11, I didn't say that I would boycott Cornell Technion because they're pro-Israel. He is the flip side of the coin of Trump. Trump says he'll boycott Cornell because they're anti-Israel. He says I'll boycott Cornell because they're pro-Israel. The vision is...
That is actually the most fucking 3 IQ shit I've ever heard of in my life, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? You're not... You need to be in the superposition of loving Israel under every fucking condition. Yeah, it's all about Israel. We love Israel.
Is our death in this city, this state, and this nation. And the vision is what Trump sells. We should be selling unity, not the division that this man is spreading.
It's so fucking funny that this dumbass fucking Andrew Cuomo is talking about fucking unity, even though, like, quite literally, everyone fucking completely and wholeheartedly does not want anything to do with the current fucking Democratic agenda. Dude, you are the dude who is against fucking unity. No one wants the fucking bullshit that you're fucking selling, my dude. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah, let's say, yeah, he is running for fucking Tel Aviv mayor, Alex. Let's be honest here. Yeah, and of course, Eric Adams, fucking Turkey's strongest soldier. Turkey. He's running for mayor of Istanbul.
Ridiculous to hear Mr. Cuomo talk about himself as a man of unity when just yesterday we found out that his super PAC was sending mail that artificially darkened and lengthened my beard to stoke the very fears of that division in this city. The reason he doesn't...
Ooh, yeah, that did happen. Let's pull up that fucking banger again. Yeah, that's a got him. Yeah, I wonder. Hey Cuomo, why do you not want to visit any fucking mosque? Hey, what's going on, my dude? Big thinking. All right, why don't you take a look at that? Boom, 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 boom. Gotta just find it real quick. A lot of clips. There it is. Ba-doo. Hey, Andrew, you want to explain this, buddy? Wait, what's going on here? Alright, bro, look at this fucking job that he did. Here's fucking some dog shit, dude. Guys, we gotta make this scary Muslim man, make him look more scary. Look, he's scary. Look at his beard, dude. Look at his beard. Nice fucking meme. Yeah, it's just some fucking cartoonishly clownish shit, dude. It's so fucking stupid, bro. So stupid. That's not the right thing I wanted to click. Opera.
Doesn't have a message for Muslim New Yorkers is because he has nothing to say to us, because he doesn't see us as if we are every other New Yorker. And ultimately, the campaign that I am running is a campaign that seeks to go beyond the politics of the Trump era, where candidates on the stage describe me as a monster, describe me at the gates, where they say that I am, in fact, the other. This is a campaign to bring people together. It's why we have the support of Jewish and Muslim New Yorkers. It's why we have the support of people across the 5 boroughs.
Real quick. Yeah, you don't bring New Yorkers together by saying President Obama is evil and President Obama is a liar. You don't bring them together by saying Hakeem Jeffries is like George Wallace and the DIS sending ads to Hakeem Jeffries with watermelons. Koch didn't say what you said he said. He said anyone who threatens Israel, I would never support. Okay, that's what Koch says, and that's you.
We're going to bring in the other candidates. I want you to tell me, and we'll do this 60 seconds and keep it a real 60 seconds. What would you do as far as bringing people together around this particular issue, which has brought people into the streets and caused so much controversy in New York?
All New Yorkers deserve to feel safe, no matter who they are. As City Council Speaker, I have allocated millions of dollars to combat anti-Semitism. As Mayor, I will fully fund to protect all New Yorkers, something that our current Mayor has not done. We're going to fully fund the Commission on Human Rights to make sure that we are taking care of all of the citizens of the City of New York. Right now, that commission is significantly understaffed. 20% of their headcount is lacking. And as Mayor, I'm going to make sure that that headcount is appropriate and that we are truly looking forward to unifying this city. Anti-Semitism has grown and it is at its peak in New York City. That is unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to everyone on this stage, and it is something that, as mayor, we are going to unify the city once and for all, and treating everyone as equals.
Mr. Landon.
I am a proud Jewish New Yorker, and raising these two beautiful Jewish kids in this city is one of the great joys of my life. It's remarkable what a haven New York City has been, and I'm going to fight like hell to keep it that way. You can't have to look over your shoulder every time you go to a Jewish communal event, like in D.C. and Boulder, and I will keep you safe, and I will keep Muslims and everyone else safe. I was at a mosque for Eid last week up in the Bronx of Ghanaian and Nigerians beautifully out in the street. That's the New York City we want. Many Sundays, I go to Union Square for a vigil with Israelis for peace, who are calling for a return of the hostages, for an end to the war in Gaza, a real ceasefire, for the famine to be ended by humanitarian aid. I believe passionately in the vision of Israel as a Jewish and democratic state, but for that to be real, the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza has to end, and Israelis and Palestinians have to find a way to peace and mutual self-determination. That is not the job of the mayor of New York City, but what a mayor can do is set a model for how you bring people together.
Mr. Murray.
Now that's, again, Brad Lander sickening those little burns against Cuomo because, you know, apparently Andrew Cuomo, as mayor of Tel Aviv, not as New York City, thinks he can solve all of the issues with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Yes, of course.
Part of the magic of our city, what makes our city so beautiful, the reason that people come here from all over the world, is that you can be your full self and be able to walk down the street and not feel like you are threatened by violence. You can live out your entire being, pray to who you want to pray to, go to whatever religious setting you want to, and you should have the protection of this city. We have seen, over the past few years, an unequivocal rise in anti-Semitism, and we must deal with that head on. We must be unequivocal about how we deal with it. But the role of the mayor is to keep everyone safe, and that is what my plan is. I want to restore the funding for the Office to Prevent Hate Crime. I want to ensure that our Commission on Human Rights has all the personnel that it needs to. I want to extend education so that all of our New Yorkers understand the rich Jewish history, but we also have to ensure that Muslims feel protected in the city as well, that we have their back as well. That is what makes New York City, New York City. That's the kind of city that I'm going to lead.
Okay. Mr. Stringer.
Well, let me be very clear. I am not confused about what I believe in or who I am. I am a Zionist. I believe in the Jewish state of Israel. I'm against BDS. It's anti-Semitic. And my wife works at the Jewish Museum, Jewish Heritage Museum, which is a living memorial to the Holocaust. So when I found, as we all did, the horror of what happened in Washington, in the Jewish Museum, I really thought about my wife going to work and coming home. And I thought about my Jewish kids, two kids who went just bar mitzvah, and I worry about them. And as mayor, I'm going to protect the Jewish community. But here's what a mayor really has to do. We've got to go back to what I used to do when I was controller and borough president. When the Muslim community called me and said, we've had people killed outside our mosque, we need you to be there, support us. I was there.
Yeah, I listen, I said this guy wasn't that bad. I rescind all of that now. He's bad now. I know that.
When people were slurred Muslims because of 9/11, and prejudice was happening all over the city, as one of the highest-ranking Jewish officials, I was there. When we needed to bring halal food into the public school system, I brought the Muslim community and the Jewish community together in the controller's office. It was a UN moment, and we brought the city together. That's what a mayor has to do.
Okay, Mr. Tilson. Yeah.
I want to be the mayor who ends the chaos, not globalize the intifada. I'm part of New York's Jewish community through my wife and 3 daughters. We've been members of Central Synagogue for 25 years. I can tell you, New Yorkers, Jewish New Yorkers don't feel safe. In the audience today are 2 Columbia University students, both Jewish, David and Maya. They have had their education disrupted, have been harassed, cursed at.
Oh no, we brought the fucking schizo-Zionists. Uh-oh, we got the fucking schizophrenics. Everyone, we bring in the schizophrenics. Let's fucking go. Schizos, deploy the schizos, deploy, go.
David's twin brother, also at Columbia, was punched in the face by one of these mobs, and I hold the people inciting these mobs, the leaders, yes, Zohran Mamdani, partly responsible for this. And
we just trying to blame Zohran for this? Dude, you're just a fucking racist. That's crazy. Yeah, Zohran Mamdani was responsible for those 2 particular, like, that one fucking dude getting punched in the face. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking freak.
When you use words like accusing the only, when you use words referring to the only Jewish.
Hey, loser, why are you polling at 1%? You know, hey, nice 1%, you fucking loser. Loser, you're still pulling it. Listen, Whitney, you're still pulling at 1%. You fucking loser. No one likes you. Everyone hates you. You're a stupid little dumb fucking abundance agenda liberal. And no one likes this new fucking rebranding. He's a loser, folks. Let me tell you, and I don't like losers. I hate losers. Because I'm a winner, folks. We all know this.
State in the world, like genocide and apartheid, when you call for divestment and all, that is inciting these mobs. And he says shared sense of humanity and all these nice sounding words, but he has a double standard because if you search his Twitter feed, 15,000 tweets, Sudan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia don't appear. Yet the word Israel appears more than 50 times, the word genocide appears more than 26 times, so that tells you where his heart is. Okay.
Hey, I got something for you, Whitney Tilson. Israel bombing aid workers on airport. Hey, Whitney. What do you think of this? Israelis attacking known aid worker locations. Are fucking, what, is Human Rights Watch anti-Semitic now or something? What, Israeli forces have carried out at least 8 strikes on aid worker convoys and premises in Gaza since October 2023. And this number has only increased. Listen, we can do the fucking meme, right? What? U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation says 8 aid workers killed in attack. Whoops. Attacked by Hamas organization says. Yeah, okay. I totally believe them. Who did this? I wonder. The United States Israel-backed organization established to supplant the aid work of the United Nations, of course, has accused Hamas fighters of killing 8 of its staff and wounding multiple others in an attack on a bus en route to a food distribution center. Yeah, man. Totally. Yeah, these motherfuckers have already attacked Palestinians, so that's pretty fucking cool. But what? There was like a thing, bombing aid workers. What is it? It was a dig site, right? Humanitarian aid workers mass grave site. This is from the United Nations. Bodies of 15 aid workers. Human Rights Chief warns Security Council about heightened risk of atrocity crimes. So that's pretty cool. I'd be willing to guess the genocide in Gaza right now is the most deadly right now than any in the world. Well, that might just be the easiest call in the universe, Alex. I got bad news for you there. That's pretty cool. Very, very cool. But, you know, let's talk about what? Israel bombing refugee camps. We can go through this. Here's Jabalia. You know, multiple times it got bombed. Al-Fakura School. Okay, we got refugee camps getting bombed as well. Whitney, I hope you're paying attention, you fucking loser. Hey, what's up with the state of Israel? Why do they keep bombing aid workers in refugee camps? Uh-oh. Al-Shadi, Al-Bareji, you know, Al-Maghazi. Ooh, bombing an UNRWA school in October 17th. Whoops. The Nusrat refugee camp. All right, we can keep scrolling. Man, they really like bombing Nusrat. Khan Yunis, and there's other camps. Oh, that doesn't limited from in Gaza, by the way. It's also they've been going after stuff in the fucking West Bank as well. In Jenin, Nur Shams, Tulkarem, Balada. But it's actually the problem is, you know, Zohran Mamdani saying that Israel is conducting a genocide. Yeah, very cool.
I'm being smeared for echoing the same words as Israeli historians Amos Goldberg and Daniel Blattman. I'm being mischaracterized on the stage for echoing the same words of a former Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, who said recently, what we are doing in Gaza is a war of devastation. It is indiscriminate, limitless, cruel, and criminal killing of civilians. I say these things because far too often we take what can be a place of disagreement and instead start to broach beyond that. And these kinds of characterizations, they are part and parcel of what leads to the dehumanization in our city, which is why an elected official in our own city has called for me to be deported. It cannot be disentangled from what's going on right now. Okay, thank you, Kennedy.
Thank you. This next question is about education. As mayor, you would be leading the largest public school system in the country with more than 900,000 students, all with differing needs. Mr. Tilson, you made education your campaign's focus, one of its focuses, and have been critical of the current performance of the city's public school system. One of the new challenges the next mayor will face is a new requirement to limit the number of students in the class. How would your administration handle this class size? Go.
I oppose this class size mandate. It's going to balloon the already $40 billion budget by about $1.6 billion a year. And this has been tried around the country, and it is one of the least effective ways. It does not move the needle on student achievement because while, of course, all of us want smaller class sizes, everything being equal, in fact, that benefit is offset by the requirement to suddenly hire thousands of teachers who are less experienced and less qualified than existing teachers. And so the benefit from...
Yeah, and I wonder why you don't... Hey, here's the fucking problem. I wonder why you don't want to hire any more teachers to make their fucking jobs easier. Because the problem is class sizes are fucking insane for a ton of fucking teachers. But I wonder why he doesn't want to fucking hire more teachers. Because fucking, hey, abundance agenda for all this stupid-ass bullshit, but not for fucking education. Yeah, no abundance of teachers, but abundance of money for fucking real estate developers being constantly pushed for here by Whitney Tilson. Very cool.
Lower class size is offset by less experienced, less qualified teachers. And guess who? Guess which students get those teachers? It is disproportionately low-income minority kids. This class size mandate would not only hurt our budget, but hurt those children. So I've dedicated my adult life to trying to reduce the educational inequalities in our system as one of the founders of Teach for America on the board of KIPP charter schools.
This is really funny. Yeah, of course, charter schools. This guy, of course, supports charter schools. Buddy, you literally said the first agency that you're looking to cut is the Department of Education. Do you really think that the cutting of the Department of Education is going to help with the class size fucking problem? It's going to increase class sizes, you fucking moron. Very cool.
for more than 20 years, and I will put the interests of kids first in a system that by and large today runs for the benefit of adults.
Great, thank you. Ms. Adams, same question, the class size bill. How you would handle, Mayor, the class size bill?
Yeah, thank you very much. No matter how we feel about the class size mandate, it is a mandate. So it is something that we have to follow. I too believe that, as one coming from Southeast Queens, I was education chairperson of my community board, and I can tell you that I walked into many a classroom over the past 15 years or so and have seen the effects of too many students crammed in one classroom. So that is a mandate. It is a mandate for a reason. What we need to look at, though, is the allocation of funds within the DOE. The DOE has the largest budget within New York City of all agencies, and we need to take a look at that money, and we need to make sure that our children are the recipients of the resources within the DOE. Sometimes there are contracts, there are other things going towards the DOE, creating that inflated budget, but we have to make sure that our children are truly the recipients of that massive DOE budget.
Thank you. Mr. Myrie, same question.
So as many of you probably already know, I'm a proud public school kid, went to PS 161 in Crown Heights. They are the crown jewel of this city. I would not be here without it.
Now I'm curious about that. Yeah, what? New York City budget allocation. Preliminary budget. Well, that says preliminary budget. Budget response. Just the budget. I want just like a graph or something. Real property. Can I just get like a graph? There's a lot of bullshit in here. I just want a graph. DHS, CUNY, bunch of other shit. I wanted a graph. There ain't no graphs in here. The city budget. Preliminary budget response. I'm really looking for that. Here we go. Department of Education, 32.68 billion. Where's the NYPD? Police Department, 5.83 billion. Well, Boy Meets Mini, it looks like you have been epically fucking debunked. Get owned, Boy Meets Mini. Get debunked.
I think it's really important that we invest in our schools. The reduction of class sizes was something I was proud to vote for in the state legislature because we know and the data tells us that smaller class sizes have better outcomes for the students and for the teachers. But I'd also like to see some more investments in our mental health for our students. We have not appreciated what has happened over COVID-19, the learning loss that is going to have impacts for many years to come. We have to support our students. We have to support our providers. And in addition to that, y'all know what I'm going to say. One after school for all. Every kid in the city, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. We need it, and we need it now. That is what I'm going to do as the next mayor.
Thank you. And this is another education issue. This question will be for you, Mr. Mamdani. What's one thing you would do to improve education for students with significant or complex abilities who can't be served by their neighborhood schools?
I think first and foremost, we need to ensure that they also have high-quality tutoring, which we've seen some steps towards. Part of this also comes back to the ability to attract and retain teachers across the DOE. And currently what we're seeing is that on this discussion of class size mandate, we would need to hire estimates, say, close to 10,000 teachers. When we're talking about paraprofessionals, we have so many vacant positions because these positions simply do not pay enough. I support legislation in the Council 1261, which would create a recurring annual bonus so that we can actually fill those positions. Because ultimately, what every child and what every parent of that child deserves is the same high-quality, excellent public education. And we need to ensure that every single dollar we spend is a dollar that goes towards that. Because as some of my fellow candidates have said, there's too much money in the DOE that is currently being spent on consulting and contracts that are duplicative, that are not standardized, and that could actually be redirected back into the classroom to ensure that every single child is receiving that education.
Thank you. Mr. Stringer, the same question.
Well, I'm the candidate on the stage who has real skin in the game. I have two kids in middle school right now, and I see what overcrowded classrooms mean to them and to their friends. And so the bottom line is, if you want quality education, you got to have smaller class sizes. And I have to tell you, you go to parent-teacher night, and you talk to the teachers, they know about every child. They know about our kids and all the kids. They do an amazing job, but you know what? 40% of them are leaving after 5 years because we're not retaining them. We're not training them. We're not uplifting them. Tier 6 that Andrew Cuomo did was the death knell for them leaving. I was somebody who believed as controller that managing their pensions actually kept them in the system, and I did that well. But in terms of what I wanted at the DOE, it is a cesspool. Contracts, secret deals, pay to play, we're going to upend that when I'm mayor. I know the bodies are buried there. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. But education is the lifeblood of the city, and we need to give parents the resources they need because every kid has something. Every kid needs a little extra. And the kids with parents who have resources, they get it. But the kids who don't struggle. And I want to stop that in a minute.
Thank you. Continuing on with education for Mr. Cuomo, over the last decade, the expansion of free pre-K and free K has been used by hundreds of thousands of New York families. But there have been issues with implementation, and even critics.
Now, don't you do this fucking wokelet fucking bullshit, Enid. Nah, I refuse, alright? Fucking, wokey, you're being woke. You're gonna get banned because you're being woke. You know what? I should hate more and more on young people because, fucking, how many young people are fucking voting for goddamn Donald Trump? Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe I need to be more ageist, but also in the other direction. Honestly, like I've said before, there's not enough hate. I need to hate more. Just be more. I need to be more of a fucking hater, okay? Get the hell out of here.
who say other educational initiatives should be prioritized. What would be your administration's commitment to these programs?
Well, we pioneered pre-K on the state side, and we're very proud of it. The more we can do, the better. But let's be realistic about education. We all agree, and you've heard many good ideas here. We want more paraprofessionals, more teacher centers, more after-school care, smaller class size. But we also have a terrible fiscal problem, and this is before the Trump tsunami. So if the state is going to mandate a smaller class size, and we can say, let's agree it's a good idea, the state has to pay for a smaller class size. Otherwise, we're just going to be savaging other parts of the budget. And part of the mayor's job is to advocate for New York City and to have state legislators say, we think it's a great idea, here's the mandate, you must do it, but we're not going to fund it is disingenuous. There's an old expression, passing the buck without passing the bucks. Yes, smaller class size. Please help us fund it so we don't savage other parts of education.
Thank you, Mr. Randall.
My mom is here. She's a lifelong public elementary school guidance counselor, and both my kids are pre-K to 12 public New York City public school students. The New York Times opinion panel today specifically praised my education track record, and what's needed is clarity that lower class size, that better student-teacher ratios are good, and a way to get it done. Andrew is actually right that more money is needed from the state, and I've documented how much as controller, and said here's how we're going to go about doing it. We should start in those schools that are low income and highly kids of color, and get class size done there. We should do collaborative team teaching, especially to make sure we can provide extra services for students with special needs. There are some amazing models of school mergers like Brooklyn 305 United. The next mayor can reduce class size and dramatically improve schooling for all kids.
Thank you all so much.
I want to ask a different kind of public safety question. Mr. Stringer, you go first in this round. The city says there were 252 traffic deaths last year. That's a far cry from zero, as in the name Vision Zero that Mayor de Blasio gave to the city's initiative on this. What would you do, then we'll go down the row, to get us much closer to zero traffic fatalities?
Look, I think that we have to own up to the fact that Vision Zero needs a lot more vision and a lot more safety protocols in place. We need to have dedicated bike lanes, but we also have to have zero tolerance for people who are abusing this privilege and using bikes and e-bikes on the sidewalks. You can be pro-transit, pro-bike lane, but also pro-safety. We put kids' lives in danger and seniors. So I would certainly revisit education and making sure we have zero tolerance for that interference, reduced deaths. The other thing I want to just say as an elected official, we have a lot of elected officials. My friend Brad is one of them. That goes to every Vision Zero press conference and then talks about the tragedies that befall these kids, but yet racks up speeding tickets and then says, I'm sorry. We have got to, as mayor, say to the...
Boy Meets Mini, fucking pin that. Pin it. Pin at the top. Pin that shit.
Politicians who get the placards, I will pull those placards if you show up at the Vision Zero press conference.
Mr. Levy, your response to that and your answer to the question.
Yesterday, I was proud to be announced to be endorsed by Streets PAC, which is the set of people who have been fighting against traffic violence.
Yeah, I don't know really. I'm not 100% certain. I haven't been in like New York in like fucking forever. I don't know what like the state of the fucking bike lane situation is. Is it like, is it not great or something? I'm assuming that it's bad. I don't know. I'm just gonna assume it's bad.
Violence for decades, and I haven't gotten a speeding ticket in 4 years. So Scott Stringer can talk all he wants. What I will do, this is my time, Scott. What I will do is re-implement. I passed as a city council member the Reckless Driver Accountability Act, which looked at those folks who are the most reckless drivers, the most speed violations, the most red light violations, and would impound their car unless they actually started to improve. Eric Adams let it expire, even though there's good evidence it was working. I'll expand it to make sure it's in all of our traffic courts, get it back in place. Well, Vision Zero we can have in New York City, zero traffic deaths. That's infrastructure improvements on our streets, and that's holding reckless drivers accountable.
Mr. Mamdani, I'll add another wrinkle from a listener to my show who submitted this question on pedestrian safety. Mopeds, e-bikes, and scooters are out of control and pose a danger, but what specifically can be done to get them to obey traffic laws? So what would your response to the original question and that listener be?
All in 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Elizabeth, for the question, if you're listening right now. I'll take that first. The key thing here is we have to understand that so many of the violations of our laws as pertaining to our streetscape are also violations that are the natural result of an economic model of these food delivery apps. When we're talking about so many of the delivery workers, the orders that they have to deliver within a time frame, there's no way for them to be able to obey.
I wonder why DoorDash, which is one of the main super PACs that supports Andrew Cuomo, decided to do this fucking hatchet job on this man's beard. Funny, dude.
The laws of the road. And one of those apps is DoorDash. DoorDash has given Andrew Cuomo Super PAC $1 million. That is why when you get those mailers that are lying about me, you see the top 3 donors at the bottom, one of them is DoorDash. The reason they give that money is because they want to influence labor and street safety regulations. They want to ensure they can continue to operate with impunity. I'm going to ensure we come back to a streetscape that is actually one of coherence and order, and we're going to do that by taking on those apps. To your original question, what we need to do is finally fulfill the streets master plan. We are so many miles behind the building of bus lanes and protected bike lanes. Those are critical, not just for safety, but also to ensure that we are finally following the law, which is something that Andrew Cuomo would find to be just guidance, not a requirement.
Mr. Cuomo, your turn.
Yeah. I think Mr. Mamdani starts with the assumption that if you receive money from someone, then you will do what they want. That may work for him, but I'm not for rent and I'm not for sale.
Dude. God, he's so fucking full of it, bro. Caught. Everyone starts spamming caught on this man, Cuomo. Caught. You got fucking caught. That means I'm totally not for sale. Then why are you accepting the fucking super PAC, buddy? Why else would they give you super PAC, buddy, Andrew? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Yeah, it's your manzine, dude. God, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, that's my goat. I love the way he lies.
Sale. So we wonder who's funding DSA and who's funding his BDS movement. On the specific question...
Campaign finance board, you can see all donations.
Yeah.
I wonder who's funding Zohran Mamdani's BDS movement. Yeah, dude, because Zohran Mamdani is a one-man art, like a BDS movement, dude. Yeah, man, totally. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, it's obviously Hamas, obviously. Actually, let's be more specific. It's obviously Hamas Piker with his Porsche and $50 billion LA mansion, or whatever the fuck, and his collection of 30 Porsche 911s, or whatever. Show the clip of them bringing Cuomo's victims to his face for at Enid. Listen. Let's be honest here. I don't remember at what point of the debate this was at. So funny, dude. Yeah, obviously, yeah, it's the Kashmiri rebels, actually. Yeah, that's true, Boy Meets Mini. It's all the Kashmiris.
On the specific question, if I could do it again, I passed a law on e-bikes in Albany. Legislature passed it also, but I signed it. We left it up to local regulation. That was a mistake, because here in New York City, the local regulation has been slow. The bikes are moving too quickly. It's mayhem. Too many people are getting hurt. I would have the apps responsible to license the bike, and they have the responsibility for tickets that are issued to that bike. It's their financial liability. They police it. I would reduce the speed limit down to 15 miles per hour, period. Because if you're riding a city bike, you are as much a subject of the speeding e-bike as anybody else.
Thank you. Ms. Adams.
Yes. The thing that no one is speaking about, when you're looking at planning, there's a city agency that is responsible for that. They're called the DOT. So, as leader of the city council, we have been in oversight with the DOT many, many, many times. And as one of my colleagues mentioned, they're not in compliance.
Listen, Enid, we've been doing a lot of Italian racism in this stream. I'm going to have to repent for my sins against Italians.
With the streets master plan. The agency entrusted by the mayor of the city of New York is not in compliance, and we have had hearing after hearing after hearing. The bottom line is that DOT needs some tweaking in order for us to get this right. So my commissioner, as mayor, would be one that is able to handle the work put before him or her to do the work that the Department of Transportation is mandated to do for the people of the city of New York. They wanted the responsibility to keep New Yorkers safe.
Listen, Romanians being Italophobic, it's in our blood. What do you mean?
Mayor, it would be my responsibility to make sure that they are in compliance.
We have Mr. Murray and Mr. Tilson yet to go in this round. Mr. Murray.
Thank you. Look, I am in relatively good shape. I'm on my feet a lot. I'm a pedestrian, but I have had to dodge out of the way of an e-bike or a moped. And if you are an older adult, that is a really scary prospect. So without question, there has to be...
These guys wouldn't survive like 3 fucking seconds in Europe or most of the fucking global south that have like these fucking crazy ass like fucking moped shits all the time going around everywhere. Bro, no one would fucking understand the crazy shit that goes on with like fucking like Europeans with they fucking mopeds and shit. It's so fucking funny, dude. Zohran should show them Mumbai traffic. Yo, fucking show them like the dumbass fucking Paris, dude. That's also another one. All the fucking crazy ass shit that happens in Paris. That's another one right there, dude.
Be regulation, but the demand is created by us. And the apps that are making many, many, many times over on that demand should have some responsibility and accountability to ensure that things are safe. As you have heard, we are out of compliance with the law. There are new categories of vehicles on our streets that need to be regulated. And our streets master plan must be implemented. I want to ensure that we have protected bike lanes and that we have more bus lanes. But I was proud in Albany to vote for a super speeder bill because we have too many reckless drivers on the road who have done and demonstrated that they don't belong on the road.
Coming to the end of the debate, Mr. Tilson, briefly.
Yes, I was almost death number 253 last year. I was hit on my bike crossing Park Avenue, and so I ride my bike.
Oh, well, I'm not going to say anything, but, you know. How unfortunate.
Almost every day in the city. I agree completely with Zelnor about these super speeders. As far as I'm concerned, there cannot be enough of these cameras that automatically catch and ticket people who run red lights and who are speeders. And I think we can use technology both for e-bikes and for cars that are speed gate. So I actually am glad to see that Mayor Adams recently adopted something I've been calling for months, that e-bikes cannot go faster. It has to be built into the bike. It cannot go faster than 15 miles an hour. And anyone who's a chronic speeder, you can revoke their license, of course, but an alternative middle path is you can install technology in the car that does not allow them to break the speed limit.
Thank you very much.
Okay, candidates, we are just about done. We're going to have time for just a couple of lightning round questions because we've got literally something like a minute left. So
that's like a thing that Not Just Bikes talks about all the time, very often, about how like a big problem is with fucking speed limits of cars, which I think it would be a good policy to try to like help deal with this fucking bullshit ass problem. If you want to fucking deal with all these like dumbasses who are speeding too fucking much, yeah, limit the speed. Put in speed limits. Another good one, for example, wherever there are pedestrian crossings, put in speed bumps. Force drivers have to slow down when going over fucking pedestrians. Fucking pedestrian crossings. You won't need to put in any more lights, right? Traffic lights fucking suck balls. You won't have to fucking put in those like pedestrian crossing thingies as well. You can just put like a fucking zebra crossing, right? Put a fucking goddamn speed bump right there. Boom. Easy. Yeah, like in Amsterdam and stuff. Yeah, narrow streets and add soft speed bumps at crosswalks. Easiest fucking shit in the world. Done. Yeah, Amsterdam is the model for this. We know this, right?
Let's go with a show of hands. Should the city increase the number of permits for street vendors? Hands up are Mr. Tilson and Mr. Stringer and everybody. Okay, across the board. From what you know, and there's no room for discussion here, legal cannabis shops, are they good for the city on balance? Mr. Cuomo says yes. Nobody else? Mr. Mamdani, yes. Okay. Oh, boy. You got one of those?
It's a lightning round question everybody probably wants to know the answer with. Raise your hand if you know who you're ranking second on your ballot.
There you go.
Mr. Tilson, who is it?
Andrew Cuomo.
It's not me.
Nobody else?
That's funny, dude.
I'm
Nobody else?
devastated.
Going to say who you're ranking second? All right.
Should penalties be increased for fare beating in the subways? No?
No hands?
They're not enforced.
Okay, and then I guess who here still reads actual printed newspapers? Everybody.
These are not hand-raised questions, and I'll start with you, Ms. Adams. Other than rent or mortgage, name one expensive thing in New York you wish was cheaper, very fast.
Other than rent or mortgage? Groceries.
Groceries, Mr. Cuomo. Food, Mr. Lander.
Childcare.
Childcare, Mr. Mamdani.
Childcare.
Mr. Myers.
Childcare.
Mr. Stringer.
100% childcare.
Mr. Tilson.
Groceries.
And starting with Mr. Tilson, name a politician you have a good relationship with. Quickly. Cory Booker. Mr. Stringer.
Mostly everyone on stage.
Mr. Myrie.
You already meet Audrey Stewart Cousins.
Mr. Mamdani.
Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm proud to be endorsed by.
Mr. Lander.
State Senator Liz Kruger.
Mr. Cuomo.
Mike Bloomberg, David Patterson, thank you for the endorsement.
Ms. Adams.
Attorney General Tish Jenks.
Okay. That is going to do it for this debate. I want to thank the candidates and our partners.
I'm not gonna lie. Is that like all that age? I'm sorry. I have to fucking say this. That's like the only thing that Adriana Adams has to talk about is her endorsement by Letitia James. I'm sorry. Is that it? I don't know. Dude, I got it endorsed by the Attorney General. Epic.
And all of you at home for watching. If you missed any part of this debate, you can see it in its entirety at ny1.com and the Spectrum News.
Yeah, I think we're done here, right? Yeah, I think we're done here. It's over, dude. Well, in the meantime, I've just been, like, prepping a bunch of Pokemon. So that's cool. Oh, that's so fucking funny that Bloomberg endorsed Cuomo and the fucking Abunda guy is fucking glazing Bloomberg. That's so fucking funny, dude. God. Overall, the debate, yeah, fucking Zohran killed it yet again. Made that man fucking Andrew Cuomo look like a fucking dumbass. Yet again, Andrew Cuomo looked like a little fucking bitch. He looked like a little bitch, little bitch. Not really much else to say there besides, like, yeah, dude, like, Zohran killed it yet again. Can't really say much else of anything, and yeah, in terms of the other candidates, Brad Lander, I love the fucking hate. God, he's a really good fucking hater. Cuomo looked like a bitch. Abundance guy looked like a moron, as always, as expected by Abundance guy. And to be honest, all the other guys are just kind of irrelevant. That's really all I have to say. Yeah, the others were just kind of like boilerplate politician, like, you know, whatever. Yeah, the only people that were interesting are Zohran Mamdani, obviously, Brad Lander for the hating, and he has good policies too. He has solid policies, like, you know, like I said before, he's like the solid second candidate if Zohran somehow loses. And I mean, they've already cross-endorsed each other. They listen, the alliance, it's always been there. Okay, they're comrades in arms. And then we have what, stupid, dumbass, loser, fucking Andrew Cuomo, who you know, whined most of the time when trying to defend himself, like pretty much the whole fucking time. He didn't really adequately push back on really much of anything, and he made himself look like a pathetic little bitch. That's really all I have to say about that. Yeah. Oh, and Whitney Tilson. Abundance is, he's a loser. Yeah, just make fun of him. Just make fun of him, I'll be honest. Whitney, that's a girl's name. Fuck you. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I think that's probably, that's really about everything that's there is to say. So, yeah, overall good debate for Zohran, I would say. And, I mean, again, what, early voting is going to start this weekend, I believe? So, you know what to do. You got to make sure to fill out all fucking 5 goddamn slots, right? Zohran first, then I would say, I don't know, like Brad Lander next. I put Michael Blake as third because of his hate of Andrew Cuomo. Base fucking hater. I appreciate that. I love the hate. Very, very good. And under every circumstance, you gotta fill out every fucking thing. And do not put Cuomo on any of them. Nah. So, and then I guess the other two, I guess you could put, like, I don't know, Adrian Adams and Zellnor. Sure, fuck it. Put those two in there somewhere. Nah, fuck it. Fill it all out. Just so long as you do not put fucking Andrew Cuomo there. Very, very important that you don't put his dumbass in there. That's really about it. Yeah, quick summary, as always. Zohran killed it. Cuomo's a bitch. Tilson's a bitch. Love the hating from Brad Lander. Very good. Very, very solid hate. And the other ones, I don't really care about them as much. They're whatever to me. But yeah, don't think there's really much else to say besides that.